All right, that's time. That time again. Twin Cities Playtest. We're here with our regular crew of Lane Davis, Dale LaCroix, and myself, Martha Croy, and we're here to playtest some games tonight. We've got three on the docket. Isn't that right, Lane? Debatably. I'm pinning you down to commit to wrap up the night with Final Strike. Uh, mhm. Yeah, right. They're properly brothers. Yeah. Real quick, everybody. It looks like we're having some audio problems, so I'm going to take a moment to fix that.
Okay.
And so, folks listening, sorry about that. Should be just a moment. Stand by.
Okay, audio problems should be worked around anyway.
Oh,
Folks should be able to hear me, and folks should be able to hear everybody else.
Hopefully. Yep.
Okay.
All right,
I'm going
so
to test it by saying my name.
okay, so
Hi, I'm Dale LaCroix.
we missed a lot because Lane, you gave a great little intro into tonight's proceedings to an audience of exactly me. So why don't we start from the top? We've got three games tonight, and folks did hear me say that I'm trying to bully you into making sure we get Final Strike on tonight. But you were saying that our other two games have a lot going for them and might take up the
Mark
whole
was
time.
bullying me. He was also silencing me on Discord. I had a ball gag in my mouth. I couldn't talk. I will say that the two games coming up in just a minute here are both very ambitious. We've got you might have heard a little bit about Rusty Chicken's game, aka our friend Forrest here, who we're showing a open world RPG created by one person. This is a game in progress, but it's very ambitious and it's very exciting to see the pace that has come together. We'll talk to him in just a minute. Later today, we will have a couple representatives from Noble Brothers who are here to show their mobile RTS called Isaiah 13. So 2 very ambitious games coming at you. And if we have time, yes, indeed, as Mark said, I will, kicking and screaming, be showing some updates to my game, Final Strike. Talk to you folks in there in just a sec. But for now, let's talk about Valley of Heroes.
All
I
right.
met Rusty Chicken over in friend of the show, Alina Matson's Discord, over in the Fitment Discord, where he was just
Wow,
posting
nice.
up a storm showing incredibly fast progress on Valley of Heroes. So I guess where do we start? Forrest, do you want to tell us like how you got started with this game?
This game in particular actually came from about 6 months of just writing notes down in a notebook. And it just kind of evolved into a story that evolved into something more. It was all pretty much pre-planned, I guess.
Nice.
And how would you say? I mean, I guess I'll just hop in here. But one thing that I wanted to say was that the progress in watching one person take what seemed like an absolutely crazy idea and actually make phenomenal progress on it in over like I think I've been watching this for about 4 or 5 months. What do you think? What do you think lends to your how fast you put this together?
Well, we've talked before that I don't really come from a developer background. That's not something I do by trade or anything else. So, a lot of the skills that they also got a lot of boxes they had to work within, a lot of limits that were already set on them. I just don't have those limits. I mean, people say you can't do anything, and I say, why not?
Forrest, is there a particular character that you think would be would display well? Who should I jump in as?
The mage is actually pretty nice.
Okay, cool. Okay, great.
So,
All right.
Forrest, as Lane gets going, let me ask you. You say you don't have a game development background.
No.
Tell me a little bit about your tool chain and maybe some of the skills you did need to learn to get this on its feet, because there's quite a lot going on in this executable.
Yeah. The art skill came with me. That was just something I did. So I realistically had to learn everything, like lighting and programming and, making prefabs and just the whole 9 yards. I had to learn it all.
Mm-hmm. So how long have you been working on it then?
I downloaded Unity in 2018.
Okay. So a little while, but you're not breaking any records for
No.
longest gestating projects.
No.
That's good.
This has really probably only been about 6 months worth of work so far.
Mm-hmm. Right, there's a lot of work you need to do before you can start doing any work, right?
Yeah, I wanted to make sure all the systems worked first. That there were no hiccups, no bugs with the systems.
Mm-hmm.
Question for you, real quick: is there a button I can press to open up my quest journal? Would that be like J or something here? Oh, not that one, apparently.
If you hit escape,
Escape. Oh,
and it
I
says
can now click on that.
settings,
Settings. Oh yeah. Okay.
and you can remap the entire thing that you want to.
That's fantastic. Oh, okay. So if I want to do quest journal here, whoa, can
There
I?
are pets in
open
this
up?
game?
Yeah, there's pets and mounts and all
Well,
of that.
I'm excited.
Okay, I am for whatever reason unable to open up a UI here. Is there? Oh, here we go. Panel. That's what I want.
Okay, scroll down.
Yeah.
It looks like there's nothing
All right,
mapped.
quest journal
Oh.
right there. Just
There we
click
go.
that and hit J or whatever.
There we go. Okay, awesome. Fantastic. Cool. All right, that's exactly what I want. Great. I realized earlier that I could press C to open this and then go down to click quest journal, but there we go. That helps a lot.
All right, if you do
Also-
the middle mouse button, it should free up your arrow.
Are you kidding me? That's fantastic. I didn't notice that. That's great.
So
Okay.
I had a couple minutes with this when I was just testing it out, so not really enough to give solid impressions yet. But I did notice a lot of the sort of conventions of an MMO in terms of controls and interface, and that's not a genre I'm super versed in. So I don't know actually what it just feels like that. Can you talk a little bit about? I mean, because you have so much going on here you have so many mappable controls, you have lots of systems put together. Where did you start in terms of the design, in terms of like inspiration? Did you want to because a lot of MMOs have lots of similar systems in order to be familiar to players, and that's important to MMO developers, for example. But I don't know what do you think about that stuff?
I actually had to come up, believe it or not, with how you get hurt first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's a quick idea. Whoever's playing, hit X.
X. There we go. Oh, okay. I can target people. Cool.
Yeah, that's the one thing, and this has also got a lot of active targeting and whatnot.
Cook
You know,
that ham.
Oh, it's after you now.
You
But,
better
yeah,
cook that ham, otherwise your ham is cooked.
I wanted to make sure that combat damage, the way you got hurt, made sense. So that's realistically the first thing I worked out.
Yeah. So Lane, you should get hurt or something.
Mm,
I know that's hard for you in a video game.
Okay, I know this sounds stupid,
yeah.
but if you pay attention to some of the descriptions of things, you'll see
Okay.
how bad
We'll
a sense
take
of
a
humor I have.
We'll take a read. Okay.
Oh boy.
You can tab target too, so if you want to hit tab.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Tab. Okay, now I can see the guy's health. Okay, cool. Oh, crits.
Now you're gonna get hurt, right?
Oh, wait. Oh, no. Okay, I betrayed Mark. Let's see. Perhaps some of the tastiest meat in all the realm is the wild boar. This white meat, which is lower in fat than normal pigs, has a much fuller and more delectable taste. Used in more than a few cooking recipes, you should always keep some around. Blue essence is created as a byproduct of all manner of actions, like mining a mineral, crafting an item, dispatching a fell beast. Everything in the universe is tied to this essence in some way, which could explain why it's needed in so many recipes, or maybe not. Maybe it's just a fluke. Sweet. Okay, where is that pig? Okay, so one thing I was wondering is, see, Captain's Request, is that what it is? Feed. Oh wait, no, I don't even have this quest. What am I doing? Okay. So what I was curious about is, okay, here we go. If when you get a quest, if you could like have a button to track it like on the screen, like on the when you get it, because having to go in here and like click track is a little counterintuitive to me.
Yeah, that's something I'm actually working on. It's requiring me to rewrite part of it, so that's why I really haven't gotten too heavily into that yet.
Well, it kind of depends, right? Because you want, like, if you have a lot of quests to track, you might want to have a more hands-on management of what you're, dumping on the screen at one time. But that depends on what the expected player experience is. Do you expect the player to be doing one thing at a time? Do you expect them to have a lot of irons in the fire at once? Do you expect some parts of the game to be really busy and some parts to be focused on a single primary mission? That's going to impact how much you want to put on the screen and how much you want to give players control over what's on the screen. Because if there's an obvious answer of what should be on the screen, giving players control will annoy them because they won't want to bother. But if customization is extremely important in terms of the sort of like catalog of experiences the player is going to go through, and there's always 30 things to do, then you might want to give players a lot of fiddly controls, even if that might annoy you at first, right?
Okay, kill me. What happens if I die? Respawn. Oh, cool. Okay. Very, very generous.
All right, go back. There's a bulletin board.
There's a bulletin board? Ooh.
Yeah, there's nothing posted on it yet, but that is going to be
Doesn't matter,
an
we're gonna
ever-changing bulletin.
We're gonna look. Okay.
I hope it's just people trying to sell their old bed frames and stuff.
Okay. Cool. Wait.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, this is how you
Remember to put the
mine?
pickaxe in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Okay. The thought that I had when I started out was, I mean, first of all, I'm turned up the music a little bit because I do think that the atmosphere here is really good. Was that like there were so many quests right at the start, and I was curious, like, how do you like what are your thoughts about like how you want the very first few minutes of the final product to be?
I honestly like where you get a whole bunch of things to do at one time, but they're all in a centralized location. So you can kind of accomplish them all in one roundabout the whole area. That's just my preference, but I really need other people to play it and tell me how they feel to generally get a consensus of what best would be.
All right, Lane, how are you feeling about how long it takes to pick flowers?
Feels. Are you saying that you could do it better, Dale?
No, I'm just saying it feels long, considering like.
Well, Dale, you're used to, speeding through the hillside on the back of Roach, just mashing the collect button.
I mean,
in
yes.
Witcher 3, right?
But in truth, that took about as much time as it might take me to pick a flower in the real world,
Right.
compared to
Yeah, but
mining,
the thing-
which would take a much longer time.
Mhm.
Yeah, but you're harvesting particular pieces. You're not just snatching it up.
Okay.
There's ultimately you have to kind of like calculate your levels of abstraction
Yeah.
so that it feels real even though it's not real. That's every game handles it a little
Meet
differently.
the mayor.
Oh, that's exciting. Okay, please go to by the Yon Town Hall and meet the mayor. He is expecting
Okay.
Yapoo.
Yippoo.
That's exciting. I can pretend to be Yapoo. Where is the town hall? Is that this guy? Ooh.
Nope.
Can I go in these
All the way
buildings?
down to your right.
Oh, this is sick.
Oh,
What? This is amazing. You did all this?
Yeah.
This is crazy. This is
Okay.
amazing. Wow.
are you gonna smash all the stuff?
Oh, I can try, Dale. I can try. Let's blow up.
That's
some
very
prisons.
important stuff.
Well, real quick, I want to ask
Not
about
yet.
this seeming first-person mode. Is this just a function of the fact that the camera is constrained by the room, or is it actually a different
Yes.
camera mode?
No, it is constrained by the room, but I'm going to switch it out because it just seems more logical.
Oh,
Well,
it's
you know,
fine.
I was trying to see if
the
I was trying to see if I could push it close enough that I wouldn't have to change it, but that's
Yeah.
what you get, is the clipping.
Well, the player model clips a little bit, but like otherwise, it actually. I mean, Lane, you can report, but it looks like very good. Like it seems you kind of lucked into a good automatic experience in a way.
Yeah.
You could just
Really
hide the
functional,
you could just hide the player model, and you'd probably be okay in most situations.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. And
Yeah.
a lot of this stuff is going to have things to pick up and go through and whatnot.
Yeah.
Oh, love it.
And go through that box of fish.
Okay.
You know, it might
Where
be,
is
there's a lot of like
down?
there's a lot of ways that games will handle camera collisions. Plenty of AAA games will just let the camera collide into like trees and objects and whatever. But then some games will have like different shaders that come in as an object gets closer to the camera, so it fades out in sort of a graceful way. If you had that kind of just in your game as like a system, it would probably and you put it on the player too, it would probably just handle it just fine. You wouldn't have to even write a special routine for hiding the player in certain places. And then it might actually be interesting to see how that would come into play in medium-sized spaces, like the camera is only slightly constrained. Like, would that also feel good? Or
Yeah.
would you constrain all your interior spaces because you're an indie, so you've got to sort of pick and choose where you want to fight your battles. If you can automate a system without having to build a whole thing, like that might be something you then design for, to not worry about having a couple of other systems take care of it for you.
Meet
Right.
Iris.
And then you got that
Mage's
transition
power.
inside and outside of a room could be handled by that, distance shader or whatever it is, and it would feel very
Right.
bespoke, even if it's not.
All right, the reason that top room is not decorated is because it will give away. Okay, now that's
All
a new
right.
glitch.
The
That
classic bar room stool.
Oh, it's classic.
Can I kill myself? No, probably not.
No.
I can make sense.
Unfortunately, he's lost to oblivion.
Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna try exiting. Maybe I have like an autosave or something. I'll restream real quick here. That is so cool.
That is new.
Okay.
I don't think
Am
I don't think there's a
That's-
3D game alive that doesn't have that bug somewhere.
There we go. I'll look at this intro.
That's what playtest is for. Finding stuff like that and get an opinion.
Okay. Dude. Okay. Let's see if I can continue off of Big Booms. Okay. So we're getting the questions hot and heavy here. Luke Van Zandt says, "This looks great." Sem says, "Did he make the art himself?" Big question.
What kind of art? The 3D art or the sculpt or the picture art or what?
Give it one by one. Tell. Oh,
Most of
oh
it,
no!
yes.
Soft lock.
Okay, so that's yeah, I got to look at that.
I
Do
should
you
have
Yeah.
the main menu. My
Really?
bad.
You know, that's actually a really interesting conundrum that faces. I keep trying to spin the conversation back to design because one of the things I was going to ask you is how you handle saving. Where do you have checkpoints? Where do you have? Is it based on events? Is it based on progress? And clearly, what happened is that the game saved Lane in a position after he fell out of the world. So, what is it that actually caused that? What mechanism? Is it just saves every so many minutes, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's kind of an autosave that once you, it's every 3 seconds, give or take, is when it autosaves.
Okay. I
And
would say that that's pretty aggressive. Aside from the fact that you can have these, breakable situations, I don't know that you need an autosave at that rate.
Yeah, that's what I've looked at doing it at other things like 20 seconds or spacing it out even a minute, or not even having an autosave, making it have to be required that you physically save it. But I didn't like that idea.
Sure, yeah.
Autosave when you go into a building.
Yeah, have certain conditions trigger an autosave. So if you're in a busy area, you'll have a bunch of saves in the span of a couple minutes. But if you're just roaming through the countryside, you don't. You won't save till you reach the next area or something.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the guy's question about the art.
Yeah.
Most of it is me. Knowing that I'm a solo developer means I'm going to have to use some assets. But to keep it from looking like an asset flip or feeling like an asset flip, I usually retexture everything, redo all of the colors of it, redo some of the modeling if I don't like it. You know what I mean? Just something.
Yeah.
But it's not just a straight flip.
I mean, I know people get really up in arms about that sort of thing, but I would not let that bother you. But you're handling it really well, where it's you're getting assets and then you're aligning them to your art style. I hope you're not just changing them just to change them, because it's perfectly fine just to use an asset. But I think you have generally a good approach, which is that you're going to make sure it all fits in your world.
Right. I want to make sure all of it is, using the same shaders and using the same color palettes, and that it all receives light the same way. No, it just makes it feel more unison.
And then talk about the 2D art, the sort of the character portraits and the loading screen illustrations.
Okay, some of those are me, and some of those are actually from another developer that does stuff for Unity. His stuff was just so good, I couldn't say no. I mean, give credit where credit is due. The guy was good, so. But it does save me. It saves me 100 hours. So why not?
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm being told to go to a mage's tower, and I don't see. I wonder if it's that thing. I'm like looking around. And I'm like,
you know where the windmill is? You remember where the windmill was? Turn around.
Over here.
Yep, all the way at the top of the hill. There's another inn and a house and all that.
Okay, cool.
Can't go that way. Just follow the road.
Okay. Just follow the road. Talk to you. Oh, this is the pig guy. Okay, cool. Hello. I can pick one. Yes. I think that we want plate belt. Can I wear this?
You actually can.
Interesting. And
but bear in mind, if you're a magic person that's going to use metal armor, it's going to take away from your spell power.
Are you kidding me?
Not right this minute, but further in you go.
Yeah. Oh, this dude here has an exclamation point, and I've already collected his quest, which is surprising to me. I feel like he should have more.
But if you look, it's kind of a grayed out one. It's not bright yellow.
Oh, okay.
You can't get that quest until you finish another one.
Could it be like a silvery looking one? I do see that difference. But my eye when I see this is like, oh, it's a yellow one. I should go talk to him. Maybe that's kind of dumb.
This stream is a good test of it because Lane, you're streaming into our Discord chat, and then I'm watching your stream and putting it out on YouTube. So there's a couple of layers between what you're playing and what the audience is seeing. And so
I see.
So you're getting a little bit of the video compression every now and again. It's not really a problem, but what it does show is it has that sort of cross-eyed fuzzy effect that you want to do when you look at games to see if things are legible enough. You kind of just look at them sideways. So when you're talking about those exclamation points, I couldn't tell the difference at all.
Oh, it's the spider.
Oh my gosh.
And that spider was the hardest thing to make a sound for.
Whoa! Goodbye.
Oh, it just... Wait,
Okay,
did it just disappear, or did you go out of the combat zone?
Okay,
so
that
it
happened
just
because I forgot to turn his respawn off. When he got to the end of his spawn area, he just comes back to the middle.
Okay. Well, I'm way too weak to be
So
fighting
now
this
you
guy
know it's
normally.
okay to run away and you'll be fine.
Please. I need to like circle around. I'm gonna die here, but we're gonna try.
You also backed right into the mage's tower, it looked like.
Yeah.
Please. Holy okay. Need to
So
level up
I
before
am
playing that game.
enjoying watching Lane run away backwards from stuff, and I imagine that's what Lane would do in real life should he be attacked by a giant spider.
It's classic
pretty
video
fun.
game strategy.
There we go.
You never see it in a real life battle. It's because you're so no one really can run backwards to the degree, but it's in every video game.
Oh my God,
what I'm
Dale!
imagining
What do you
later.
think of me now, Dale? What do you think of me now? Look at this.
Oh, I'm
Complete this
behind.
quest. Okay.
Oh,
Well, I'm gonna complete
Look
the
at that.
spider killing quest.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, what other question did I have? I don't remember.
All right. Okay, so I can go this to go to inventory. I can start equipping my stuff. Now, if I look at stats, am I gonna see like spell castitude, and then when I equip this, it goes down?
Oh.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But
not
you
yet.
will.
Okay.
I mean, you're low level, and that's just really low level gear, so it doesn't affect you yet. But round 5, 6, 7, you start noticing a little bit, and it just ramps up after that.
Cool. Is it possible to like turn the camera around in any way so I can see what my face looks like?
All right, hit X again.
X. Okay. Oh, sweet. Oh, dude. Oh my gosh, this hood looks amazing. Fantastic. Let's not get
That's
close
what
to
he
that
really
guy.
wanted.
It's not.
Run away up the hill backwards.
I like that I can. Yeah, I love that I can just like sidestep real fast. Great. All
If
right,
you hit
let's-
Q, there's a roll too, and you can roll out of the way.
Oh, sweet. Do I have like invincibility frames when I do that?
Yes.
Oh man, cool. All right.
It's the mage.
How art thou? So this is kind of interesting that like I'm choosing his dialogue line.
Yeah, sort of. It's what starts the conversation. There's two different things. One is a quest line, and one is just a conversation.
Okay, well, ask me how I'm doing, bud. Bad guys. Help Pyrus Ashburn with an experiment by harvesting some fresh ram horns. Sure. All right. And then.
Oh, I get it. It's a bad guy.
All right, bud. Give me some greetings here. Give me some greetings. Greetings, young shaper. Glad you have come here. Tell me, what dost thou comest seeking? Let's see. I have been sent by Mayor, and now I'm doing my lines. I want to know about Nanaku the bear. Yes, please. And Nanaku, he was such a brave soul. He favored his spirit bear form the most. It is said that once he got assimilated into the form, he never changed again. He lived his entire existence in that form. That's incredible. I wish to be the bear. We all do, young shaper. Can I turn into a bear? Until then,
Actually, yes.
All right, I can't wait. The trials. All right.
I want to stick on this dialogue thing a little bit because that is the one of the things I noticed in my brief minutes testing out the game is a little confusion as to selecting the other characters' lines. I think that's something that, I mean, if there are multiple options as to you can have this conversation or that conversation with this person, I think you might want to genericize it in a different way, where you have the player ask a question to or start the conversation, rather, because it just doesn't. I can't find a way to justify that interaction, like in a way that you can make it more obvious to players, and certainly it's not that difficult to learn once you see it once or twice. But I think it will never stop feeling weird.
It is a little weird and unintuitive.
Yeah.
This place is awesome, by the way. Now, I will say I'm confused by this guy's last line, where I like go and talk to him. And I'm like and I'm asking him about the trials, and he's just like, "Shut up! I don't want to talk about it. Please tell me about the trials. Shut up!
Shut up! I don't want to talk about
I
it.
want to know." Okay, maybe I'll do his quest first. Maybe that'll help. Ram horns.
Oh, maybe he just needs a line that says, "I'd love to talk to you about the trials, but I'm badly in need of ram horns."
Well, that's what I was going to suggest. Is perhaps,
Okay.
and this is what you get when you observe playtesters. Is there's like is this something that's broken, or is this something that's a system I didn't learn yet, or what am I supposed to take from this? The fact that I ask about the trials and then nothing happens. Am I to understand that the character is not ready to tell me, and the mechanics are telling me that, or is it that that's just something, or is it just that it's a missing dialogue, which is certainly something that happens when you're in development of a game.
Yeah, it's really hard being solo that a lot of this stuff just goes, yep, see the spawn thing.
Okay.
No, it's okay. That's why you do playtests.
Yeah, that feels like something that like you can identify and
That's not a ram,
and fix pretty easy.
Whew.
but it has horns.
That
Oh,
ram
this
gets
guy's
me. Nah.
I feel like
That's a great sound.
you go back to town and on the bulletin board, there's like some guy has been fireballing all of the wildlife.
I like that.
Was that goat getting like higher and higher pitched as he was attacking me more?
Yes, it changes pitch.
Oh, that's great.
I will from a lore perspective, I'm a little skeptical of how hard it is to take down a mountain goat.
I gotta say, I really like the real-time combat aspect so far, other than the dudes despawning. I feel like the fact that I'm like rewarded for trying to like lead dudes who are far away with a long-range bolt, like that feels really fun.
Yeah. The hunter's a lot of fun to play with it too. Once you can summon your pets, it gets really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Let's crack this quest here. Bad guys. Oh, am I making progress on this? Ooh. Rams, or maybe these aren't the right rams.
Yeah, they are. They just don't drop them every time you kill them.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
There's one thing that World of Warcraft does, and I don't know if you want to copy everything from World of Warcraft, but I think it's pretty sweet, which is that early quests in that game, they typically do have the like quest mobs always drop the thing that you're looking for, so that they teach you that connection like pretty fast for new players only, and then for like later in the game it gets more spread out.
You know, my unfamiliarity with the genre, I kind of forgot that everything is loot in these games, and so there's always a chance involved. I just sort of forget that. So I wouldn't have guessed that. Like, I'd have killed 3 mountain goats, and then I'd be like, oh, well, the mountain goats don't give me the ram's horns, and I would have never killed another one.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That makes sense.
Oh, it gave you a basket.
Oh, I'm like level 2 now. I should use my other spell. Excuse me, you can attack me for a while. I'm just going to go ahead and grab my... I'm sick! We're freezing now! Excuse me, sir. I'm going to walk slowly away, and you're probably slowed.
He was for a second. Froze.
Jerk! Alright. Ooh, we got blue essence. Who needs horns? Here we go. Ram horn.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, question for you. I'm always wondering whether this is the right thing to do in this kind of game, which is, do you have any sort of like pity timer or any sort of like pseudo randomness where if I got unlucky for a while, I'll get lucky on the next one?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Okay, so we're just rolling dice. Okay, cool.
Yeah, RNG gods must smile upon you. It sucks for playtesting, I'll assure you that.
Oh, I bet.
You know, I mean, I think you should take this more seriously than that. I think it actually is something that it would suck for the player experience, even in a finished game. That idea of like communicating to the player how the world works, you do sometimes have to like fudge the numbers to just explain things to people. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's not like an advanced system. I think that's a pretty much table stakes for a game like this.
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense. Ooh, 2.
I mean, you've been getting lucky kind of recently. I would almost suspect if I was trying to analyze how this game worked without having the developer here to tell me, I would almost guess, just based on your performance now, that like, oh, I just need to kill enough of these, and then they start dropping them, because it seems like the last 3 you did had them. So that's obviously the system doesn't work that way, but it does communicate that to players, right? So that randomness is something you need to control, or you need to have players understand really well, so they don't get the wrong impression as they start prodding the system and trying things out and trying to learn.
Go get that flower. It looks magical.
Oh, 100%. We are doing that for sure. I just became incredibly much more powerful because this roots people?
Yeah?
Yes.
Huh.
Hello.
Yeah, that's the thing, is it's going to ramp up pretty quick.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. Let's see.
I will say that the flowers and the ore and like the collectible harvestable things, they're really well communicated on screen. Like you have, a little bit of particles. It's not overdone. It communicates. It doesn't, and it doesn't break the reality of the world by having like auras everywhere, like a lot of games sometimes do. Like it has some like logic to it, which and fits in the art style. Right. It's good. It's the kind of thing that like you could miss it if you're running fast, but like it's not like missable. You know what I mean? The way that would frustrate players. So I think it's done really well.
I don't know if anybody's paid attention, but there's a running clock in the top right-hand corner.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, the sun's going down.
Ooh. Uh-oh. Okay.
And do the monsters come out at night, or what's?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh shoot. Okay. We gotta level up fast then.
So let me ask: how do you want players to discover that during play?
Well, it's just going to continue on because you're just going to keep playing, and you're going to go, oh, look, the sun's going down, and you'll get further away, and you'll start to get quests that say, hey, come kill this, but remember they only come out at night.
Okay.
You'll kind of hold their hand that way. After you've done it a couple of times, you'll get it.
So some players will discover it kind of by happenstance, and that's like a cool user story of like, holy crap, I stayed out too late and then got ambushed. And then some players will discover it through talking to people or seeing other signs. And so everyone will have it sort of a different way to stumble upon it. That's interesting.
Yes. Yep.
Ooh, you got so much stuff there.
Holy smokes. That pig was loaded. Okay.
It's quote of the night.
Oh man, cool. Yeah, like definitely for sure. I think I've gotten super unlucky with those rams, but now I can't find any more rams. Oh, hello, give me some of these. Fetching sticks, absolutely.
That's the one. If you go behind the house that he was at, that's the one that was. Don't grab them before you get the quest.
Oh, give me some more of that XP. I want more spells because like getting this frost is a game changer. I wish I had a quest to go kill those skeletons because I feel like I'm up for that now. Okay. Oh, we get the laugh.
Yeah, some overconfidence perhaps.
We'll see.
What little taste of power, and you think you could take on anything.
They're so weak. They're so weak.
Bring on the lich.
Oh boy. Oh shoot. Okay, so we got 3 of those. Let me I keep forgetting how to do this. There we go. Fetching sticks. Track. Oh, we need 1 more stick.
Yeah, there's only 1 more out there, so.
Oh my gosh. What? Okay. Oh. I'm an idiot. Okay. Fantastic. Give me that. Okay, so you were telling me that white image, the like placeholder, like white square, that is like the number of XP that I get for that, right? Okay.
Yeah, that for some reason it either displays as white or black, and I have no clue why it's doing that because everything else displays. So I figured it's not breaking anything right now. I'll worry about it later. Typical solo dev thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. There we go. Fat stacks. Do I need to do this ram thing to advance the main story? Like basically we're like going after the bear. Is that like a good thing for us to be doing right now?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
All right.
Just the general premise behind the game is you're one of the shapers, and that's basically a person who can change shape into all kinds of other things, be it animals, dragons, whatever.
Yes, I was hoping you'd
And
say dragons.
historically, they've saved the world's time and time again, and it's basically the last straw at this point. It's either save it now or
Oh,
it's
we
all
got
gone.
real-time shadows? What?
Yep.
All right, well, time to get real scared because the skeletons are coming.
When that shadow came over, I was like, oh, and this game has aliens too? Because that's just such a common trope in those movies.
Oh shoot, the shadow's going away.
It's actually a challenge for video games that have like a sped up day-night cycle, is that you have you don't want to make it real time, that's ridiculous, but if you have hard shadows for a lot of that stuff, it in those moments of transition, it starts to kind of break down the verisimilitude, to use a word, of it. But at the same time, like soft shadows for that is expensive for competition time. So it's kind of a tough thing, but it is going to be something people will sort of,
being a minor.
notice.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that
was
seems
born a minor.
way easier than I would think being a minor actually is.
Yeah, you think you would at least want to hold something. Hello, tell me about the trials. Okay, bad guys or bad guys? Ooh. Do I want? Does agility? Can I? Here's a question. I mean, obviously, it does tell me what they do when I mouse over them. That's great. Yeah. Agility is surely not the amount of resistance to things. Wait, so does agility do anything?
Agility is not showing you.
It's the one that's not showing me. I don't know why. Maybe there's like.
I might
maybe
have missed
there's a
that one.
raycast blocker here or something. I'm not sure.
I may have missed the description on that one. I mean, there was only like 7,000 of them to do.
Yeah. So does agility do anything for me as spellcaster? Does it make me like cast spells faster at all?
No, not at all. But it does make you better at dodge.
Oh, this is great. Old, kind of worn, tarnished, but hey, it was free and you can still smash faces. So true. Just make sure your friends don't see you with this because it's UGLY. That sounds perfect for me. All right, let's go ahead and inventory. Give me that. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, this is way better. Okay. Hello. Greetings. Tell me. Okay.
That's where I stopped it because I didn't think anybody was going to play that long.
Oh, sure. Okay, but if I want to continue on to go to the bear zone, what do I do? Here we go. Tell me about the bear. That's incredible. Oh no! Okay. Well, where do you recommend I go next?
Let's see.
What would be a
There's
fun,
really and short of just kind of walking around, there's not a whole bunch left in there to do. Like I said, I only had about 30 minutes of playtime on it. So.
Gotcha. Okay, well, we're gonna become a miner.
Yeah.
You can craft stuff. I mean, you could always do that.
Oh, you should.
Wait, there's a crafting system in here? Let's go.
Yes.
I can enchant. I can socket things.
Yes.
Oh my god!
Yes.
What?
So it looks like the player stats, your sort of D&D sheet that Lane's been pulling up frequently in the last couple of minutes. It has the traits listed alphabetically. Whereas I think health is probably one you want to call out, for example.
Oh, sure.
And maybe have it appear slightly differently rather than just a list. But then I don't know. I mean, there's like conventions of the genre. Like this is a kind of information dense genre. So maybe I'm not. Maybe that's not a. Maybe people appreciate it being cataloged in a way because
I think you're right.
Trying to make it
I think health and
completely
energy would be at the
uncluttered.
top. I think health and energy at the top makes sense to me. Ooh, hello. Ooh, harvesting for health. Except gain some potions. Okay. Copper ingot. How do I ingot? Excuse me.
See, behind you on the left-hand side.
Be a miner, you must first learn to smelt your ores into ingots. Okay, fantastic. Oh,
Over there, there's a couple of crafting spots.
Oh, yeah.
That is a
Oh, this is
giant
incredible.
anvil.
Okay. I need but I just gave my firewood away.
No,
No.
you can buy that from the merchant.
Okay. That's good.
It's
And
good
that
you're
red
doing this.
tent in front of you is the merchant.
The Merchant of Duncroft. Hello,
It's good
sir.
you're doing this at night when the blacksmith is asleep. Otherwise, he'd be pretty mad if you're using his stuff.
Yeah, but what if I wake people up with my smithing?
There's no noise ordinance. Duncroft.
Ooh.
Right.
Major feature request. Could I see on this screen how much money I have?
Oh,
wait.
yeah.
I could do that.
Maybe I should have this open, but actually, or maybe this should just automatically pop open my inventory or something. I just want to see how much. It was not clear to me immediately that I needed to bring it up. Okay, so we need firewood, at least 2 of those to make the ingots, and then we can just harvest more. Okay, I might be doing this inefficiently.
You can just buy a bunch of it. Just buy a bunch of firewood and.
It's only 5 copper. What am I doing? You're absolutely right. Let's go craft one of these. How many ingots do I need? I almost feel like...
I need to do a multiple on this, and I just haven't gotten around to it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Lane, when you were buying firewood, what was it called in the store?
Oh, I want to say it was just called firewood.
Okay, because when you collected it on the ground, it was called wood for fire.
Correct. I wanted to make that distinction.
Well, okay, aren't they the same object?
No.
What's different about them?
Well, one's for a quest and one's for your crafting.
Okay.
Well, okay, so the quest was technically pick up sticks. So should they be called
Right.
sticks?
In fact, the wood for fire is not firewood, essentially. Having different names that are essentially the closest they could be to synonyms without actually being the same thing, I think that is potentially confusing. If you want to continue having them be separate items, I would almost recommend it seems like it'd be interesting for the player to decide. Lane even said, like, "Oh, I just gave away all my firewood." Like that's a cool moment actually to say, like, "Oh, I need more now." But if it's not actually the same item, then you kind of miss that sort of like that teachable moment about inventory management, you know?
Okay.
You might change the image to be more like split logs too.
All right.
And then there are
hilarious. I love this quest name. Anyway.
What? Oh, I missed it. What was it?
Oh, it's just called learning to hide, and I need to get hide.
Oh, that seems important.
Yes, it is.
And then another thing I was going to tell you is that there are different words for different kinds of firewood, because there's, of course,
yes, there are
tinder and kindling and fuel. So those might be other options too.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Still kills me.
He's just so stunned that his head is going around.
Hide. Okay. Oh, I missed. Oh. Okay, I saw that if you aim the fireball just right, you actually like hit multiple targets with it. That's really cool. I love that. So I'm actually like sort of now. I just completed the quest, so never mind. But I was gonna say I'm kind of sort of encouraged a little bit to round up a few enemies and try to AOE them to death. That's pretty fun.
Yep, that's very possible too.
Do I have... Oh, I just leveled up. Bummer. Okay. Craftmaster McDaniel... No, not you. Is it... How challenging do you think would it be to get, like indicators on the map to show me, like, where, like, my quest turn-ins are? I don't know if that's something you want to do, but, like... I'm
working on an arrow, I guess, kind of similar to TomTom from World of Warcraft. Just kind of point you in a general direction, but not so much on the mini map.
Learning to hide.
I kind of want you to have to hunt and search for things.
Oh, you know what? Here's a question for you. I have 6 hide for this guy. And he wants 6 hide, but he wants me to obtain it after the quest is done. Is that correct?
After you get the quest, yes. Everything you've had prior does not count.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's a little strange.
Yeah.
No, that's cheating.
I mean, I mean, I can't think of any game that punishes you for sort of completing the task before it's asked of you.
Yeah, but you don't know any game that the wolves come out after dark either.
Well, I mean, Lane, you seem to think that was a problem, that was a bug or something, right?
It's definitely not what I expected.
Yeah, I don't know that the play would ever. I mean, every design choice can be justified, right? I think you just need to make sure that the players understand that's how it works, either by having the quest giver explain it explicitly, which is maybe the cheapest way to do it, but because there are a lot of things in the game that would make you assume that it does work the way Lane thought it did, and so you need to provide the player a lot of enough communication to tell them otherwise. Otherwise, they will not like that feature.
I see what you're saying. The fireball will catch them on fire and spread to other units. Just if you wanted to try that out.
Lane, can you hit animals with your smithing equipment?
My bobbin stick? Let me try.
Okay.
I actually don't on a fundamental level know how combat works. I'm gonna see if I smack this dude. Do I have just an auto attack?
Yes, you do.
Hello.
Get close enough and actually you haven't targeted him yet. There you go. Now attacking. Hit your right button.
Oh, right mouse button. Yeah, look at that. There we go. Weave in those 9 damage hits. Perfect. Oh, they actually helped there. That's cool. Oh,
see,
Dale,
if you got him targeted if you had him targeted before you shoot, you'll auto attack automatically.
Oh, those skeletons are not going to stand a chance now. Okay, hide. Yeah,
Animal
I guess
abuse. PETA will hate this game.
one question I have here is, this person. I guess it depends. If this guy was saying all right, Grasshopper, I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna learn you something here. So you need to go and get some hide right now. It's weird. It's weird that he's asking me to obtain hide when I already have hide for him. Oh well.
Yeah, there are narrative ways you could solve the problem. You could say, you could have the guy say here, take this token, this voodoo doll or whatever, and it needs to see you collect all the 6 hide, right? Then the player knows I need to collect 6 starting now. I mean, that's a silly example, but that would be a way to do it.
Sure.
Mechanically, you could explain it in ways that that have hide can say go bad after a certain amount of time, and so what that person wants is fresh hide, which means starting now. I need to get it right, and that introduces another mechanic. Whatever, you don't do that. But I think the player is left with the question. Why can't I just give them the ones I have? And if the game doesn't have a satisfactory answer to that, then the player will either get upset, or they really will just think it's a bug.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. Oh, Lane, there's actually, if you look behind the building, there's a skeleton fighting either a boar or something.
Oh, the dream.
Oh,
dream, my chance.
Oh, he killed him already. Okay.
Hell yeah, doesn't matter.
I'm looking forward to seeing the final chapter of Lane's story just about now.
Look how easy this is.
Oh yeah, you're in good
shape. This guy
shape.
doesn't have a chance.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not running fast at you. Or
oh, hold on, he's gotta despawn. We gotta circle around. Whoop.
Hey.
Yeah, you can't stand there and take it.
oh shoot, that was one hit that hit me, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. The RNG gods are not smiling on me right now. Wait, if I hit E, do I restart? Yeah, it does. Okay.
I got a question. When
What's
it
up?
says out of combat, what does that mean?
Ooh.
That means that the combat timer for you attacking something has expired.
Oh, there's a combat timer.
Right. Your next question, Dale, is what does that have to do with
Magic
anything?
log. Magic log.
We have to go in. Oh my gosh.
Wait.
Whoa, we just did it, guys.
Just a bit of lovely scene craft. It's great.
It is.
All right, so you're fixing to run into one of those nasty hidden walls that I told you about.
Did you? Oh, perfect timing.
Expending all
because
of
you're
your
not supposed to see
endurance.
that.
Oh, there's so much more world out there. What is it? What are you?
I want to go to it.
Well, I'll have
Yeah,
to tune back in when that's done.
the map that you're on currently is 3,000 by 3,000 by 1,000 tall.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's pretty large.
Where do you, sir? Ooh, a zombie wretch. Oh wait, there's a wall. Okay. Can
Yeah,
I
but
shoot
if you
him through
shoot
the
him and
wall?
hit him, he can come through it.
Hello. Okay, I better not kill him before he gets on my side of the wall, though.
Because then you won't be able to get his zombie loot.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
I
because you
can
got to
crit,
read
so I
some of
better not.
those.
Oh yeah. Dude, this is so cool. All right. Oh, no loot. Okay. Zombie wretch. Oh! Oh, did I just die? No, I just pulled up the character screen. Okay. Okay. Accidentally pressed X. There we go. Hello. Dirty old bones. Do I want to read this description out loud to the stream?
Absolutely.
Okay. The uneasy feeling usually instilled by bones was just raised about 1,000 times, mostly because these bones were upright 5 minutes ago trying to kill you. Those dirty old bones, hey, that's what she's... I'm getting out of here!
Yeah, Lane, you were reading that a little slower than I thought you might.
Okay, let's just ease our way out of here. Dude. Cool. I know I have seen a little bit more of your map, and I know that there's like more out there. If can I go to the lake?
No, it's barely out of. You can see it, but you can't make it to it.
Okay. Fair.
Just head that way, and you can see it.
Okay. Well, what would be do you think like the best next thing for me to get into here? Oh,
Well,
okay, just barely.
That's really about it, other than just looking at stuff right now. I haven't put more than about 20 quests in it, so you've pretty much run through everything.
Oh, fantastic.
Are there any
Look at all
systems
this.
that you want Lane to take a look at and get kind of his reaction to that he hasn't toyed with yet?
I want to make some stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
probably
not
make some
anything in
food.
particular.
Make
Cool.
some food. You're probably hungry after fighting all those boars.
So
Oh yeah,
true.
cooking. There's some fun stuff cooking.
Oh, rad. Okay, cool. Oh, I want to hit level 4, but we only have a little bit more time. Oh man. Okay, so what more can you tell us about the Shapers? Because I think that like shape-shifting, like playing Druid was always like one of my favorite classes in World of Warcraft. Like, Raise the Dead. Cool. Kill 10 skeleton warriors, easy. Hello. Oh, I thought I already had that one. Must be the other guy.
That was the other guy.
Okay.
Okay, the Shapers thing I really like Druid myself, and so I kind of liked it as a mechanic to base the game around.
Mm-hmm.
And how it works is once you learn these animal shapes or whatever shapes, be it, dragons or whatever, you get a new hotbar, basically. And so you can learn new skills for each of your animal forms as well.
Oh.
And so, like, when you're a dragon, you can actually fly, so you can see everything from, the air. You can breathe fire, swing your tail.
Yeah, but you can't fly higher than 1,000 units, huh?
Right.
Mining. Have I grained mining because I've been making these ingots here?
Yeah.
Okay.
That and mining the actual stuff.
Okay. I hope I've got enough money because I really want to try to like level up blacksmithing a little bit and see what that's like. I can't believe this game already has a ton of skills. Let's go. I'm gonna get a bunch of this. Pickaxe. How have I been getting?
Yeah, I wanted to do that where you have to have it in your inventory, but I just forgot to enact that when I gave you the thing, and I just didn't worry about it.
Oh, sweet. Very generous of you. Okay, let's make some hardened... Oh, there is that blue essence that's in everything. I wonder why. Wait, what do I need? Oh, copper ingot. Oh, jeez. That's how they get you.
Yeah.
Pyramid scheme here. Oh. Okay, if if I click this twice, it will not queue the next one. That's fine.
Nope, it won't.
Okay. And so I wonder what I can do with these hardened copper ingots. If I go over to this guy, ooh, a sword of strength. I wish I was playing a character that cared about strength. What is this? Weapon stone. A nifty little item. Maybe I'm the wrong character to be engaging in blacksmithing, but this is really cool. I can't believe I have all this stuff. Okay. Sick! We got a new weapon. And it's got armor penetration. Those skeletons are not going to know what hit them. Okay, character. Yes. God, that does so much more damage. Crafting is fantastic. And what happened to my blacksmithing? Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense. I just made one weapon. So I gotta kill 10 skeletons here? Oh, man. Okay. So, one question I have is, I sort of feel like, having played like, not a million of these games, but I sort of feel like these things having default like bindings would be fantastic. And the other thing is, when I set the binding with the other character, I feel like that binding should have applied to this one. So like right now, like when I hit J, it doesn't open up my quest journal, and I feel like that's like probably something that's on your list, but like that's something that would be really nice to have.
Hit Q
Actually,
for quest.
All right, let's. Oh, okay. Have at thee. Haha. Oh, he's stunned. Oh, I can get a free 19 hit. Okay. Woo. Let's back off. Oh, let's go. Let's back off. Okay, so is that a chance based thing to
Yes.
to freeze? Okay. I just got lucky there, I guess.
Did you just aim at a tree?
Dale.
Oh,
He's new to
God.
this. Give him a break.
okay. Just checking. Press Q for quest.
Q for quest? I mean, that's not the way it works, though. It's
Yeah!
Q?
It means roll.
Damn it, Dale. Oh, I forgot that I could dodge. Okay, we gotta try that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the sort of run away is a tried and true technique, but it feels like there's enough tools in your toolbox to employ a couple more interesting tactics.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm working on getting the animations in for like when you're strafing and you want to roll backwards or sideways or all that.
Oh,
But
sure.
Oh,
that's-
sure.
Oh yeah, that's
So-
fine. Whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Well, as Lane
But
takes down,
functionally, it works.
yeah,
Let's Dark Souls this guy.
So I want to ask you a little bit about. Well, we've got a couple minutes left. I want to ask you about the lore and story a little bit more. I think one of the things you were really excited to have us see some of the item descriptions and mission descriptors because they're really funny. But when we talk to NPCs, I don't think we get a lot of that humor. Is that a line you're drawing between the sort of extra textual video gamey part, the descriptions and paragraphs that you wouldn't see diegetically in the world, whereas the world itself does take itself seriously? Or do you want the game to be really comical all the way through? I'm curious, like what your sort of what the sort of like goals are for the tone.
Well, the narrator, so to speak, is actually a character that's in the game. So the person that's really narrating the things is a character that's in the game. And once you meet him, you'll understand why he's so cynical. But everybody else in the world is serious because it's affecting them and their world, and their existence.
They're the ones getting attacked by the skeleton warriors.
So how do you want the player to behave? Do you know what I mean? Do you want the player to take it seriously? Or do you want the player to find it goofy and fun and silly? Because those are both like equally valid approaches. But how do you want the player to be moving through this world? Like, how do you want it with a song in their heart, swinging their sword left and right, or do you want them to be thinking about the threats to the world and saving the characters? You want that to be hanging over them.
Actually, it's whatever makes it fun for them. In all honesty, either whatever you find fun.
I would argue that I think you should have a point of view on that. I mean, players get to do whatever they want, right? Especially with a game like this, which allows you to play in so many different styles. You can't force a player to behave a certain way. But I would recommend that you think about what you want the player to feel when it comes to that tone, right? Because that can really help you in terms of how you present mechanics, right? Like, like there's some RNG stuff that's really funny in video games, right? Like you were so close, but then you got a bad roll. If the tone of the experience is comical, then that's a cool user story. That's like, oh, I got to tell these people about this goofy world I was in and this hilarious bad luck I had. But if it's a very serious game, you want the player to move through with the weight of the world and the world-saving quest in their minds as they travel through. Then that kind of experience can be disheartening, even though it's identical. And so I think you would be well served by thinking about how you want the player to interact with these things. Because one of the things I think is interesting about it is that you come up with some of these descriptions which are they have like modern language and they're colloquial. Like that's kind of a fun twist. But I don't know, it doesn't feel like enough of a twist on the world. Do you know what I mean? Like you can either lean in one direction or the other, or you could like play with the juxtapositions between those two. I see a lot of potential for that, you know?
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to really think about that, I guess. I haven't really give that a lot of thought. I kind of just wanted it to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's ultimately everybody's goal. It's always a little more complicated. It's like what is fun, right? Like there's no one definition.
Right. That's always subjective, man. It's so subjective.
Mm-hmm.
One question I had for you about combat is, right now, is it true that the enemies damage you at the start of their attack animation?
Maybe I'll have to watch the timing on it.
Okay,
But
I will
generally-
do nature's greatest sacrifice and go run into a skeleton. Oh, I had another question, which was, what would you think? And this is gonna sacrifice the integrity of the game, but if I'm like aiming down a little bit, like right now, if I want to hit this guy, I want to aim like at the top of his head, because my 3D fireball, if any part of it clips into the ground, then it just explodes early. So I want to aim as high up as I can to still hit it so that it doesn't clip into the ground. What I'm wondering is, would it make sense at all to cheat a little bit in the player's favor and aim the fireball up, or like do a raycast along the ground and aim up just a little bit so if it is intersecting with the ground, just barely? Because I feel like that was a big part of my first experience with this game of like, I hit the ground accidentally, like a lot.
I could honestly probably just change colliders on it. It would make all the difference in the world.
Oh my gosh,
I have a rather large collider on it right now because I didn't want it to miss the target.
That's a sweet solution. Yeah, just bump up the collider on the firebolts a little bit. Okay,
Yep.
I'm gonna show you what I mean. So I was all excited to do some like sick Dark Soul skill. I'm not that good at that game, but what I noticed was this guy, like the damage I took. Well, here I'm bleeding, so it's gonna make it a little bit muddier. But when he attacks me, that 24 was right at the start of his swing animation. And so what that means is that the roll.
All right. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I like what I want is, if there's a roll in the game, I want to have like a chance to like react to something and roll.
Yeah, you want that telegraphing.
Yeah.
That's not. I mean, the little MMO experience I have, it always feels very point and click, and I never pay a lot of attention to the animations. Like that. I think this kind of is in that mold. But I think what you want from it is a little bit more of like a standard third-person action game, where the animation is really much more tied to the outcomes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean to say that it's not that crazy for it to not be so well aligned, because that's not uncommon for games of this style. But I think Lane's sort of want here would go a long way, I think. But I don't know that it's as vital as it is in other types of games. If that makes sense.
Oh, I completely agree. I just like in World of Warcraft, they don't have like a spot dodge move like that.
Yeah.
At least not that I can remember. And it's partially just because like the moves aren't telegraphed in the same way that they might be in an action game.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. I mean, really, your desire comes from the fact that the game gives you some tools, so you kind of expect that to be useful in that that way. That makes sense.
That was the expectation.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. Oh yes, I'm rolling everything right. Oh, do we just have somebody join us? Oh, hey, welcome, Phil.
Yes. Hey, how's it going?
Dude,
Good.
fantastic. Looking forward to getting into Isaiah 13 in a sec. Phil, could you introduce yourself?
Yes. Before I do that, though, can I get where's the actual YouTube video? Is it YouTube or how can
Yeah,
I?
absolutely. Yeah, we are on YouTube right now on the IGDA Twin Cities YouTube channel.
All right.
Yep. Bit of a lag there. If you want to watch Lane finish up the game we're playing now, he is streaming into this Discord chat. You can watch there instead if you prefer.
Okay. Nice.
We don't always run it that way, but we're running it that way now.
Ancient shards.
Oh, I should have read the description of that. That seems interesting.
I think you learn pretty quickly in this game that you want to read all the descriptions, right?
Yeah. Yep. Okay, I gotta say, like right away, we've had like a bunch of like complaints and asks, but I am so far quite enjoying the combination of World of Warcraft systems plus the real time battle. Like all this like scooting around while shooting has been a lot of fun. I do genuinely like that.
Mm-hmm.
But now I just want one more skeleton. Oh wait, we just finished that. Vanquish them to drive them back. Okay. Now we want to go back to the inn guy.
Have you been in the inn yet up here?
The inn. That
Yeah,
one.
right there. Yeah.
No, I think I missed it. I'm terrified of stools. But yeah, we'll check it out. Dude, I just can't believe these interiors. Like, where do you find the time to do this? This is great.
Go upstairs.
Lucky enough, I guess, to have a job I can do a little work at.
Yeah. Oh, this is gorgeous. Okay. Oh, sick. Oh, who has the room here?
That's the owner.
I want it. All right. Cool.
Woo!
Oh man.
There's some mystery behind the bar. If you go behind the bar, there's a.
Ooh.
Okay, bear in mind this is on ground level, so this is Unity trying to figure out how to put a hole in the ground, and Unity's a pain in the butt.
Oh sure. Ooh.
Ooh.
What do we have here? Oh man. What are you up to, Mr. Owner? Ooh. Oh, dirty. Cool. Can I cast a fireball at it? Oh, take that.
You
genius.
can, but it's not going to do anything. That's one of those next step things.
Oh sure.
Lane,
Sure.
I do like how you
Right.
asked if you could do that in the middle of charging it up.
Doing it, yeah.
Yeah, because I was asking Unity, I wasn't asking Forrest
Mm-hmm.
for his opinion. Okay. This is sweet. Okay, this definitely makes me much more excited for the next version of this game. Okay, so I need to turn this quest in before we move on.
Well, for final thoughts, as Lane is turning in this quest, Forrest, tell us a little bit about what your sort of prime to-do list is. Like, I mean, obviously this is a game that's just going to require tons of content. But separate from that, what are the systems you're focused on improving or adding, or where are your focuses at right now?
I'm working on adding the rest of the classes. There's 9 classes total when they're all said and done. So I'm still working on making sure all the skills for those classes work. And my next thing is talent trees so that you can improve your character. You can improve like your stats or either the effects of your abilities to do more damage or, do more healing or whatever. So that'll be tied into it as well.
So why 9 classes and not 6 or 12?
Because that's what sounded good to me and that's what I came up with.
Nice. Cool. Hello. Wait a second.
It wasn't based on anything. I just made a list of about 30 different, typical classes or kind of characters in RPGs and just picked from there.
Ooh. Oh, did I have a quest to talk to this guy that I needed to turn in the whole time?
Yep.
Oh, how did I miss that? Okay, you must dispatch the fiend hounds down the hill. Be careful, they are very fast, very vicious, fearless, and they will stop at nothing to kill you. But good luck.
All right, and then
Oh,
you
I
can
get some
pick
sick
one.
stuff.
Those
Dale,
are earrings.
35% energy? That's so good. What? Okay.
I do
we
like
need-
that they're described as ear ring.
That's sick. All right. It's a beautiful tap.
Earring. It's an earring.
Mhm.
Okay. How do I do the thing? Here we go. The trials. Track. I love that it has his whole dialogue. Good luck, Shaver. Okay.
Turn around. They're the other way.
Down the hill.
That
They're down
way.
here. Oh, okay. Oh, see the one. Yeah, I gotcha. I wonder if it would be good to like have some more like to the north, to the east, that kind of thing. Because I feel like I'm constantly like wondering what the directions are. Here we go. Hello.
That would be useful if you had a compass.
Oh my gosh. Mark thinks of everything.
Maybe the mini map
Oh.
on the side that shows you facing north.
There we go.
Oh, does
Yes.
it always Is it always
buddy.
facing north?
Take these bones.
I think that was another level.
Oh, did we? Oh! Okay, excuse me. I'll fight you later. I have to look at my new spell. Ice column. A column of ice that shoots down from the sky, freezing everything in the area of effect for 4 seconds, costs 5 energy to... Oh, okay, that's normal. Has a cooldown of 8 seconds. All right, let's go.
Well, it's good that you waited for a bunch of people to come on, crowd out
Wait.
to you. Oh, no, despawned.
It's that spawner thing.
Okay.
I gotta turn that off.
Yeah, there we... Oh, I have it. Oh, this is sick. Okay, let's go. Okay, I must have missed. I'll get him next time. Don't worry. Oh! Oh, you know what? Oh, okay. It's because I was clipping into the hill. Okay.
Ah.
Oh!
Eh.
Shoot. Okay. That's my bad. What your game is telling me is stop being cowardly, mage. Let's go. Yes. Don't despawn. Haha. Cool. Oh, that is so satisfying. That's cool. I feel like making this thing really easy to see where where it's going to target is going to be a challenge. Hello. We're done with the trials.
And you'll have to pay attention to because they're going to move. And I don't know if you've noticed or not, but they call, most of the animals in here call help. Like they'll call a second pig if
Oh,
they'll run
okay.
away from you. They'll come back to fight you later after they healed.
Mhm.
It's kind of progressively thinking AI.
That is awesome. Okay, we got this guy. Equip this. Equip our ear ring. I can't wait to see this. We're so zippy. Oh, this is gonna make crafting a breeze. Oh, this is great. I'm glad we stuck around to do this. Where do I turn in Raise the Dead? I don't even remember what NPC gave me that. Can I see that in the quest journal? Raise the Dead.
It should be able to. It's wasn't it the wizard that gave you that?
Oh, was it? Can I hop up here? Yes. Dude, these earrings are the best. Who would ever pick those other options? This is... Okay.
No, I guess it wasn't.
Greetings.
I forgot who did that one.
Yeah, it was at the bottom of the valley, but I don't remember who. Yeah, that's definitely a thing you'll want to have. But I'm like, actually, do other games even do that? Like, I don't even...
They give...
Because I feel like I've had that problem in
indication.
Assassin's Creed games where I'm like, I'm done. What do I do now? Like, Doesn't
I mean,
seem
one
like
thing
a-
that you could do is you could make like the questions like draw over some other things. I don't know. Just give me some indication.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you
this
said
is
he says he's working on. You say you're working on like something that points you to the next one.
right. So
Yeah.
like in a lot of games, you have like active quest, and it's like one at a time, and then that gives you the quest marker. And when you're done, it points you to the NPC that gave it to you, even if it doesn't tell
Right.
you. So that's
The mayor?
that's a way to
The
do
mayor.
it. But I don't know that if you want, especially want to have if you want to track multiple things at once, that might not be the best way to do it here. But
Oh, he's right. Thank you, Forrest.
Yeah.
Hello? Raise the dead. Yes, I get 2 silver. That's worth 100 copper. Yes. Okay, hey buddy, you got anything more for me? Okay, we're rolling. Look how fast I am, Mayor. Maybe I should run for office. All right. This is too fun.
well, Lane, I think we're gonna need your final thoughts, so we can move on to the next games.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think that like my big my big like complaints so far were just all around like some of the rough edges where the World of Warcraftiness and the like real-time combat mixed. But I also think that has been like has so much promise. It's like it made like low-level grinding much more fun than otherwise would be. I think that obviously like the despawning thing is something to look at. The other thing is I feel like thinking back to early quests in games that I stuck around with a lot, like I don't know, like I feel like you could go with any of them, but certainly World of Warcraft has this, but also like early quests in other open world games commonly have like the early quests are there to sort of like lure you into the bigger experience. They're like nice little stepping stone to the bigger thing. I felt when I came into the game like I didn't even know how to play my character, and I already had 4 things to do, 5 things to do. I think that feels good to you because you know the mechanics of the game, but I would like to have 1 thing to do, and then 2 things to do, and then 5 things to do. Like lure me in just a little bit. And the last thing on that was that pardon me, like I wanted to have I want to have just more indication of like where to go next all over the place, such as like especially returning like things to NPCs, but also like the biggest discomfort I had was when something would say like, oh, go like into the valley to do something, and then there would be like 3 valleys, and I would have to like go through each of those. I feel like something where the guy's saying like, oh, that way in a pointing animation, or just like say to the north, or have like the indication arrow that you're talking about. I think that anything like that will make the experience way better.
You know, an alternate to that is because there is something fun about exploration. So so if it says go to the valley, and then the player is like, yes, but there's 3 valleys, like that should be an opportunity for gameplay, right?
Yeah.
And so I think you are a bit resistant towards hand-holding the player a little bit. That's kind of that's the impression I'm getting. And I think
very much so.
So
okay,
I say go with that, but then I think you do need to make it enjoyable to be lost. And whether that's new mechanics or whether that's make each area different, or I went to the wrong valley, but there's something else here I can do instead, you know? So you can feel like I didn't find what I was looking for, but I found something else that was cool. And so I think you can lean into that, but I think you need to give the player a reason to go with you in that direction, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, Mark, that's such a good point. That actually like reminded me of something I wanted to say, which was that like we were talking about earlier. I think that overall the biggest thing that I want to like take away here was that the early quests took a very long time, and I feel like as you're learning the game, you need to like give people a couple of like quick wins and like easy to understand things. And for me, like me and Mark were saying, I got really unlucky with the ram horns, like super unlucky. Like the first like 7 or 8 that I killed didn't drop any. Like I could very easily be that player who just turns from the game at that point and just never comes back because I don't know what to do next. And so like I think that like rigging it to like drop them faster, or just like making those early quests fast and sort of more surefire in general would be great.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be a matter of like, you don't want to, you could just make every ram drop horns, but then only make horns useful in an early quest so that it doesn't become OP later on. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like that way,
Yeah.
because there's something about games like this where, especially in open worlds, where after you've played 20 hours of it, you go back and you're like, remember how it was so hard for me to kill that one boar? And now I'm just slaughtering 30 with a single button press. Like there's something really, that the power fantasy is really exciting. So giving players extremely easy tasks, that, I mean, if they never played the game before, it's the hardest thing they've ever done. So I think that you shouldn't be afraid of, like Lane is saying, letting players get those early wins, because you want to ramp them up into the experience, the core experience that you want. And they need to be able to, they need some buy-in for that, I think. When they're very weak, right?
Yeah.
In general,
Oh
yeah, go ahead, Lane.
Well, another thing on Mark's point about like not hand holding, but like making getting lost fun, or making sort of maybe more natural sort of pathfinding fun, as opposed to like being just told where to go. One thing that stood out to me was when I talked to this guy, he said go to the Mage Tower. I actually like took a look around here for a sec, and I was like, oh, where's the Mage Tower? And like this was the most towery looking thing that I saw here, this guy here. Yeah. So I went in, and obviously it turned out very quickly that that's not the Mage Tower. That wasn't really a problem. What I wonder is, like, could it be that maybe getting rid of those trees, or maybe making that Yon Mage Tower like a little bit bigger so I can actually see it from this guy, might be a fun way to do that, so I could like see what the Mage Tower is and just naturally go run over to it?
Yeah.
I could probably work on that. I never paid attention to the tree blocking it out, to be honest.
Yeah, this is where like lessons from film come in handy. Like not in the way people normally think, but like essentially what's happening is you're starting a story. So when you're watching a film or reading a novel or something, you obviously, whatever's going to come next is going to come next. You have no control over that. But there's something about letting the audience understand where they're going in a narrative. And in video games, it's very similar. So exactly the example Lane is saying is that go to the Mage Tower, and then you're supposed to have a question. Mage Tower? What's a Mage Tower? What would a Mage Tower even look like? I'm going to look around. Wait, what is that? Is it a tower? It's too far away for me to be sure. I'm going to go check it out. Like that has a natural story progression, and it still is interactive for the player. But you need to have those signposts there. You need to give them reasons to get to the next page of the book, you know?
Ooh.
And instead of just populating the world with chapters, you know? And that's it's easier said than done. I mean, it's the biggest challenge in video games, frankly. Because
Mark, we're talking about this, and like that removing those trees would actually like interact with other quests, because like those trees make like they sort of beautify other quests that you do along the way here. Additionally, like I don't know what this thing is, this like little parapet here that is on this inn, but I don't know if you're doing anything with that, but I think that one thing would be nice is getting rid of this thing, because this looks towery, and if there was an obvious tower over there, then I'd be like, oh, I'll go over there. But if you want to do anything with this, then that gets in the way of that. So I'm just seeing like a million little trade-offs with a game like this.
Yeah, and even that not tower is in the same direction as the actual tower is enough to cause confusion. But you know, there's a million ways to solve it, right? I mean, the cheapest way to solve it without and do not be afraid of cheap ways to solve things. Is especially if you're thinking about the comedy of your game, and again, that's something I really want you to examine. The mayor could say, "Go to the Mage Tower." Now we have a tower here, but and a lot of locals get confused, and tourists they always go to the wrong one. But I'm telling you, that is not the Mage Tower. Go find the Mage Tower. Like that could, again, depending on the tone you want to set in your story, you can solve problems with other tools in your game, right? And then you can have the different parts of your game can intersect. So you can solve a mechanical problem with narrative. You can solve a narrative problem with progression or with inventory. You know, and so whenever you try to think of how am I going to fix this problem, maybe the obvious solution is the right solution, but there's always 30 solutions. You know.
Yeah.
But then those solutions then slowly start forming the opinion of your game. What kind of game is it? What kind of tone does it set? How does it want players to progress? How angry do you want players to be when a boar kills them versus how much do you want them to laugh? When do you want them to be afraid of the big bad when they show up? Do you want it to be a big change suddenly? It's not so happy-go-lucky anymore, or do you want it to be foreboding all the way through? Like, I mean, this is a little bit of just like my philosophy, but everything is story, including all your mechanics and all your systems. And I think when Lane is talking about the sort of MMO stuff that he said has some rough edges, I would say, I mean, I've only played it for a couple of minutes and really just been watching Lane, but those rough edges don't bother me at all. Like, I think that considering the state of MMOs, like, you are doing great here. Like, a lot,
so good.
Things are put together so well. You've got essentially, I mean, there's some like minimum viable here, and that's not faint praise. That is like an incredible accomplishment for a lot of these systems, and especially how they interact. So that rough edges stuff, I would worry less about that. And I would start thinking more about like what the opinion of your game is. What is the tone and the story, and how do you want people to progress? Because you could get bogged down polishing those rough edges for 100 years. And then at the end, you have a game that's just like every other game and almost as polished. And you want to think about, because you have this interesting the story about the Shapers. That's so fascinating. And I don't think it's bad that we only got a taste of it here. I think a slow roll on that is great, so no criticism there. But I think that's what you should be focusing on. Every decision you make should be, how do I make that in that core idea of the game? How do I surface it? At what speed do I surface it to the player? How does this mechanic feed into that feeling that the player's going to get at level 30? And how is it going to interact with the story? And this is an interesting system, but it has nothing to do with my story. So maybe I can just cut it and save myself 3 months of work. If you're thinking in that way, I think you can really efficiently design your game to the best version of what you want it to be. But you have to make a lot of decisions on what you want it to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's where I mean, I've in so many words I've said it already, but I think that's my biggest criticism is that I don't know that you've made a lot of decisions about some of the big things that you want your game to be. But there's no wrong order to do stuff in. So
except mechanically, there is like oodles of stuff to do with.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I totally agree with that. I think that, and like it is, there's no wrong order to make your stuff in. There's all that game dev Twitter conversation about that guy who thought everyone made the art first. Like, whatever, make the art first, make the story first, make whatever you want first. There's no wrong way. But I think that I'm not seeing enough of your opinion on some of the stuff that a game needs to have, I think, to be finished. If that makes sense.
That's the Ram's horn now.
Yes.
Yeah.
One little question for you, and this is something I'm shocked. I'm frankly shocked that Mark didn't bring up, which is that so Mark used to have critique for a certain dev in our community for always wanting to add more character classes to his game.
A certain dev, you say?
A certain dev, and what I'm wondering is at this point, like just my opinion, take it for what it's worth, is that I'm like very excited to like move on to the next thing, to like start shaping, start like interacting with the bear, start going after some of these long-term things that I've heard, and 4 character classes already seems like, oh man, that's a satisfying experience. That seems really good. Like I would prefer like a longer experience over a short experience that can explore in many different ways. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like if I were you, I would be like interested in like extending out the experience with the existing characters.
Yeah, that was the thing, is I really thought about having that many classes, but they're all individual enough in themselves that it would feel different every time you played it. Cool. It would be a completely different mechanic for you to get through the game.
Well, that's why I did ask you. I didn't really lean into it the way I sometimes do, but I did ask you why 9 and not another number. And it's okay to have a random reason for something. There's nothing wrong with just saying because that sounded cool, but you really got to think about how you're like. What is it about your game that makes 9 the good number? And you don't have to come up with that first, but the game will eventually need a reason for there to be 9 classes. And I think Lane is right that the game, as we've experienced it so far, and we obviously have just had a slice with just this one character and just this early content, but I don't see a need for more than 4, more than 3, frankly. But that is prescriptive advice, and you should never take prescriptive advice from playtesters.
Oh, yeah. So true.
So 9 might be the right number, but we're not seeing why 9 is the right number yet. And if you don't know why 9 is the right number yet, then either it shouldn't be 9, or you should come up with a reason why 9 is the right number. Because 9 might be the right number because the game isn't finished, and any number can be the right number. You know?
Yeah.
Right,
I mean,
correct,
for what it's
yeah.
worth, my game that Mark was criticizing also had 9 characters, so I'm in your corner on this. But yeah, either way. Anyway, definitely excited to talk with you more about this. And
Oh
also
yeah, I want to see this back here.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely, I would be more than happy to come back.
brilliant.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you so much. Rusty Chicken, if people want to follow you or keep track of this game, do you have social media? Is there a place where people can follow you?
I haven't put up anything really except for the YouTube stuff that I've shared. I'm fixing to start setting things up, but a lot of times that requires having a staff, and I'm just one guy. So
Yeah,
it's kind of
you got-
balancing time you spend on everything.
Yeah.
You got it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, feel free in the IGDA Twin Cities Discord. Just go ahead and throw links whenever you got them. Give people updates. Just when you've got it. No rush. But we're here to consume that content because I think people would like to see it.
I'll be more than happy to do that.
Great.
Not a problem.
Okay. Now, do we have in the chat here? Do we have Alpha Junior and Philip?
Yes.
Woo! All right, fantastic. I'm going to stop streaming here, Mark. We did not plan this at all. What we're going to do for this next game. So,
Right.
Mark, what's the plan? Do you want to play this one?
Well, I could play this
Dale
one.
wanna play
Dale, would you like to give it a go?
What
'Cause
do I need?
You need Parsec.
And that's it.
And that
Right.
is it.
Keyboard.
Okay. By the way, Forrest, feel free to stick around if you would like to view this next game, and comment on it at all.
Oh yeah, the more the merrier.
Yeah,
I'm
great
actually
job.
gonna jet off. I'm gonna watch, but I have a few other things I have to do here. It's 9:00 my time, so I have to get up in about 8 hours.
All right, well, sweet dreams
thanks
to
for
you.
joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a bunch. All right. So, Noble Brothers, who wants to take it away? Why don't you introduce yourselves?
Sounds good. My name's Philip. I live in southeastern Minnesota with my family, with my mom and some brothers. So you might be lucky and get to hear them tonight. Yeah, I'm finishing up college right now, so that's super exciting. And yeah, I do more of the programming. That's what I like to do.
Gotcha. Is that what you're in school for?
That is, yep.
Rad. Okay. What about Alpha Junior? Can you introduce yourself?
You bet. My name is Andrew Ingesser. I am the oldest member of Noble Bros. I've got a full-time job with a company out of northwestern Minnesota, but I live in a southwestern suburb of Minneapolis. As far as the game development I've gotten to interact with for this specific game we'll be looking at, I got to work on some of the models and coding as well, but I do it for a full-time job. I let Philip work on all the hard stuff.
Dude, that's what older brothers are for. Passing off the work to the younger brothers. Classic. Classic.
The sad thing about it is like he does a better job than me, and so it's a little bit of a pride hit right there too. It's like, man.
The only reason I can even do it is because of Andrew. He's the one.
That's good.
So do all of your brothers work on this game with you?
Our brother John, who is the main one you guys have been interacting with, he was the one that kind of spearheaded it. I was kind of one of the first ones that really wanted to do video gaming full time. Wasn't able to pull that off, but with John going to school for it, and then Philip picking up development coding, it really became a potential option. And then two of our other brothers are into music. One of them's an audio engineer. And then, we got a lot of brothers. But another one is very good at game design / critiquing games. So it's kind of a really cool experience to be able to work on the game. So basically, I think there's 4 or 5 of us that worked on this specific game. But Philip's definitely the main developer, and then John was the main artist. And I kind of was utility for both of those, including one of our other brothers, James, who worked on some of the soundtracks and game design.
Very cool. Very cool. So how did you folks get the idea of this current game? I mean, just to give people a little heads up, from what I've seen of it, I played it for about 20 minutes the other day. It is you describe it as a mobile real-time strategy game. Like that just seems like a crazy couple of things to combine. It sounds very challenging. So what gave you the idea to do this?
I'll let Philip handle this one.
So the basic idea, and people will see this soon enough, but the basic idea was like, hey, it's fun to go around Google Maps. And what if we built a game with that, right? You're like scrolling around Google Maps, and then we're like, oh, you could be shooting stuff, and you could be like blowing up planets. And that went through some iterations, and it's changed a little bit. But that was the basic idea for the concept. And then we wanted to make it for our nephew because he was turning 13, and we were like, it would be awesome to make a video game as a birthday present. So we knew that he liked a lot of like Clash Royale he really likes, and some other games like that. We were like, yeah, we want it to be kind of more strategy focused, but real time, obviously not super large because we just don't have the time to make Clash Royale. So this is what came out.
Thinking about scope early on, that's something not everybody does. So congrats.
So I was going to say, so far, I am totally this kid. I've flown tons of other spaceships. I'll just hit all the buttons.
That is very much Dale's MO, yeah. So this is the tutorial you're doing, Dale?
I don't know. It said story, and I clicked on it.
Okay, so not the tutorial.
It is not, no.
Would this be a major show faux pas if I asked Dale to restream to Discord so we can react to things in real time?
I don't know how to do that.
You should press the screen button in Discord and click on the application.
Oh, wait, pause.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
We won't make fun of you, Dale. We promise.
Sorry to kill your flow, Dale.
It's okay. I gotta figure out where my Discord is. Okay.
All right.
Share my screen.
Wonderful.
So for filler, just curious, how long have you guys been doing this for, Lane?
Oh, this show, we started like basically right at the beginning, like in March 2020, right when people were getting sick. We were like, hey, we're gonna start an online show, keep some of the community together, give them a place to show their games. The big motivation for the whole shebang was kind of that, like, our in-person community, we didn't want it to die, so we wanted to give it something to like tide over, some place for people to share their games. I like to think that as soon as we start up in-person activities again, we'll get to meet you guys in person.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's the hope.
Yeah.
It's been really fun doing these playtests on stream. They have a different quality than an in-person playtest does, which we took a little while to learn. But we'd like to get back to that old way of doing it in person, as well as continuing to do something like this. But we don't know what that's going to look like exactly yet. But yeah, we started pretty early. It wasn't March, but it was April or May, and the event didn't exist before, so it started as an online event. Partly because we weren't able to playtest our games in any context once everybody was stuck indoors, and so we're like, well, let's come up with something. So we've been doing it for a good long while.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
I was going to say before. Okay. I don't. Okay.
So Dale, I think I understand your frustration, and I understood something similar. Is that target that you're looking at is actually on the other side of the world.
Oh, like I have to. There it is.
Yeah, that took me quite a while to figure out myself.
So I don't really understand what I'm doing at all.
That is fair. Is it legal for me to help out, or is that breaking the
It is legal. We'll just criticize why I need
Considering
help.
that we interrupted you, Dale, during the part where it explains what to do, I think it's only fair.
Well, actually, we have a tutorial. This is the story, but if you go back to the main menu, you can go through a tutorial and see how that goes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's
probably a better way of starting. Yeah, agreed.
There's a school of thought which is that like the game should tutorialize itself, but if there is a tutorial on the main menu and the player doesn't do it, they're buying into a little bit of confusion. So I think that's perfectly fine. But I think the tutorial. But I will say I did start with the tutorial, and there was. We'll see what if Dale can even make it back there. But
you got it, Dale. We believe in you.
Oh, you shouldn't. I just click all the buttons, man.
So that's
now I'm stuck.
You click the gal. Okay, so.
Oh, so I'm there. Okay, options. Nope, that's not what I want. Okay, Canon. Ooh, there's a different thing.
Dale, don't get distracted.
Well, I can't not get distracted. Ooh, back. Okay, tutorial.
Good job.
Okay, so maybe the answer here is put tutorial first and story second. Because I thought I was just gonna get like a background on like.
Yeah, you thought maybe it was like a text screen or something. Actually,
yeah.
So it actually is really illustrative that the last button Dale pressed was the back button, because I think when you press the options button, you were looking for a return to home screen button, right?
Yeah.
And I think the back button in that context of the screen that she was on didn't communicate fully that it meant back to the main menu.
Yeah, that's a good call out.
Makes sense.
Oh, I have to aim here.
So this I think was the tutorial is tutorials can be kind of like really like what's the word, condescending and like lengthy. This one does not have that problem in my experience. No. But I will say
at the end of it, yeah.
There's.
But I can't find it.
But there are a couple things immediately that are not communicated to the player. So you have in the previous section says hit one of the cells brackets towers, but because you're looking top down at this world, it's actually not quite as easy as you think to identify something as a tower. So like little things like that, I think that think about because players are coming in totally blind. And sometimes they need to be, you might think it's like too handholdy, but there are some things that are just not, like even just like that back button. It's like, of course it's the back button. What else could it possibly be? But it's not unreasonable for you to not realize it, you know?
Yeah, especially in a tutorial. I feel like you can't be too handholdy in one of those.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice job. Looks like you're getting the idea, though.
Okay, I get it now. I just really want to shoot the enemy directly.
Yeah.
That's fair. The other thing people have a hard time with is because they have a gun, they want to shoot everything. They're like, oh, this is a first-person shooter. It's like, whoa, no. Slow down.
I mean, that is
only have one bullet here.
Yeah, that is something you're communicating by putting the gun in kind of the first-person shooter place in the camera.
That's true.
Yeah. I'm just giving you all of my feedback because I played a good bit of this earlier. So as Dale's getting her impressions in order. But Dale is experiencing that problem where she doesn't realize she's out of bullets because there's this.
I'm out of bullets.
There's the energy meter and there's the bullet count, and it's hard to know which one to pay attention to exactly. Even though I believe the tutorial is fairly explicit about it. I keep wanting to look at the energy bar to know how many shots I have left. And I don't know what's the rate of reload. I never really quite got a grasp of that when I played through it.
Yeah, we originally had another whole bar for the bullets, just to make it more explicit.
Yeah,
but we thought that might be too much screen clutter too. So,
well, you've got some free space in that bottom area. I mean, you fill it with other weapons, but and you want it to be thumb friendly, I imagine.
Right, I think the thumb friendly was the challenge without taking up too much of the viewport, but at the same time, having the bullets displayed was very explicit and was very easy to tell, how many shots you had left.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the wrong tower. I really want it.
Dale, did you pick up from the earlier tutorials the relationship, I'm struggling to even figure out how to say this. Each of those lightning bolts is bright on one side and dark on the other. Did you pick up anything about that in earlier tutorials?
No.
I feel like you just got lucky to get through those earlier tutorials without picking that up.
Oh. Oh. Interesting. Ooh, I got a new thing.
Nice.
One really good takeaway is that people playing video games don't read text, so it's really good to know that.
Oh yeah, nobody
Yeah.
reads. That's
No, we do not.
that's rule number 1 is nobody reads anything. Yeah. But,
I'm just gonna press all the buttons.
But
I'm impressed at how lucky you're getting.
There is a reason why people don't read, and it's. I mean, even people who are like, I am personally a read the manual type person. I will read all the IKEA instructions before I start step 1. But
wait.
What?
I am married to this guy. He will like get a new disc for a game, and he will pull out the little like insert and read that before he plays it.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's my personality. But even I will find myself not reading the tutorial text or the helper, I get I got confused by that. Like I'm like, well, I'm totally that person. Why do I even not read anything? And a lot of the reason is because you're communicating to the player with text, but you're actually you're speaking much louder with everything else. And so if I click something and something happens, I feel like I learned something. And so even if I do literally read the text like 3 times, the other things the game is communicating to me is going to speak louder to me. I'm gonna retain that information more. And we as humans, we have a natural desire to understand systems and to get a handle on our surroundings. And we trust our senses more than we trust explicit instructions, even when we want to read and trust the explicit instructions. So we make fun of players and playtesters all the time. Gamers don't read, but it's not actually their fault.
No, I agree. I think that's one of the things gaming or the game industry in general has pushed the envelope on for the world of interfacing is that if you can't explain it visually, then you're probably not doing it well, because that's what we care about. That's what you, like I said, when you click the button, when you touch it, that's when you want the experience, not just wanting it to be fed to you via text.
Mm-hmm.
Does red counter green and you want to shoot blue with red? Is that right?
Oh, I thought it was like for like, but maybe I had.
It's rock paper scissors, I believe. Am I right about that?
You are. Yes.
Okay. Did you
that was another whole conversation.
The same as Pokemon, or is it the opposite of Pokemon?
It's the same. So red's good against green.
Oh, that's why I didn't understand it. Because I don't know Pokemon.
No, that's a good move. That made it easy for me.
Speaking a little bit of what speaks louder is you have your bullet count on the button for the weapon, but because you have this weapon in this sort of FPS style thing, you are encouraged to just fire and never look down at how many bullets you have. Even though after like 7 rounds of this, you're like, I only have 3 bullets, I only have 3 bullets, I only have 3 bullets. You will just instinctually press it 4 times. You know? Now, one of the things one of the innovations of Halo is you put the ammo counter on the gun, because that's what you're looking at. And that seems very like obvious or a little bit, again, hand-holdy. But it's because it's what you're communicating to the player. So if you want the weapons to feel like they don't have a lot of ammo, you need to make what the player is looking at tell them that the weapon doesn't have a lot of ammo. And that could be that the weapon, the visuals of the weapon, like every bullet is more impactful. Like there's tons, like a shell casing flies out or a bunch of smoke leaves the one side. Then that feels like every bullet is more consequential, right? Nice. So there's a lot of ways to communicate that sort of thing. But anyway, I just wanted to yell that point out. Dale, I was sort of talking over you just there.
Yeah. Okay, so I'd say that like the guns, like especially the blue one, appears way too big on this side of the screen. And I don't like it.
Yeah, does it interfere with gameplay and what you want to be like seeing?
I don't know. I'll have to wait until a blue one comes up again.
I'll wait till Dale's done. I've got some complaining to do.
Oh.
Wait. Is this just a complaining fest? Is that all we do?
That's playtesting.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we like to get it in really early so you understand that this is what it is and it's totally cool.
Dude, what I think is kind of sweet about this
All right.
is
Well,
that
I'm out of
in
stuff.
this challenge you can complete this in a like kind of a dumb way, but like you go in and fast and you just shoot everything, or you can think about it and do it in an efficient way. I love that. That feels a little bit like StarCrafty to me, where like you want to figure out where you want to devote your attention. That seems really cool.
Right, you can brute force your way, but there's a more efficient way, and that's fun to discover. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
cool.
I am all out of bullets because I shot some of these green things
That's
because
a
they
bummer.
looked awesome, and so I feel
want-
like I have no options now. What are the?
Understandable.
Yeah, you gotta harvest those crystals when you got bullets. I kind of feel like there should be a really slow free mining tool you can use as a default if you're completely out, you know?
Mm.
Yeah.
Without
Okay,
bullets.
so
You don't
wait.
need bullets.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, you can keep harvesting them.
Oh, sick, Dale.
Okay, I get it.
Oh,
This
I'm
was
dumb.
not part of the
That's
tutorial.
great.
It was not, no.
Good call, Dale.
Do those make into
Wait,
bullets?
Did you... Oh, wait, what? What'd you just do?
I lost.
bummer.
That's what happened.
You
Well,
were
that's
so
funny.
close, Dal. You were really close.
What does harvesting crystals do if it doesn't give you bullets?
Great question.
Oh, you probably just gotta do it fast enough. Oh, I'm dumb. Okay, it makes you win. Okay, here's a question for you. Why isn't the top of those pillars green?
Yeah, you have to kind of tilt it sideways a little bit to get it to fully see what color it is.
That is a great question.
Yes. Nailed it.
Yeah.
I don't think we have a great answer for it, but it's a great question.
I'm gonna send that one to our artist.
Fantastic. Who is your artist? Who is your artist?
John. So the guy
John.
you've been talking with a lot. He's not here tonight, but
Man.
yeah.
Stick it to John. Tell him Lane's upset with him.
All right, he will be very different.
Oh, so like for some reason, Dale had a little bit of trouble with the like navigation. For some reason, it was super intuitive to me. I'm just curious, like, why did you choose that style of like, that like little indicator showing you where the enemies are?
No, because originally we didn't have it,
Mm-hmm.
but it was kind of annoying to like the game's such a strategy game that you really need to be able to see all the enemies so you know what you need to go to next.
Oh man, this is so.
You
cool.
did it, Dale! You did it! You did it! Good work!
Dale, you
Yay
just
for
blew the
me.
planet. What'd you do?
Oh no, we blew up the planet. Oh,
Dale.
oopsie, my bad. Well, that seems accurate. There's another little baby planet. What's the planet of Mother?
Oh, that's some real Final Fantasy Gaia stuff.
Yeah, it is. Ooh.
Ooh. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, I'm the ace pilot, Angel. I was being held captive by the Planet Eater until you destroyed it. Yay for me!
Oh, and the first thing she does is call us dumb. Thanks.
Now let's stop wasting time and get moving. Another nearby planet is in danger of being consumed. And sadly, you are the only one who can save it.
Oof.
She kind of is insulting.
Yeah.
Dude. What is your 13-year-old brother thought of this so far, by the way?
He's enjoyed it a lot.
Good, good.
It gets really hard though, so he hasn't been able to beat it.
Ooh.
But yeah.
Make it... Oh!
Yeah, he's basically, I think, a lot of the real-time strategy stuff he really appreciates. Also, the amount of guns that you get, he really likes that, and the creativity that you can have with the different types of guns. But like Philip said, it is really it's hard.
Congratulations.
3 stars, Dale. Woo!
So Dale,
Good job.
Dale, you're
Yeah.
looking for the next button, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but that was a
Good.
tutorial.
Am I
Good
going
call
to
out.
main
yeah.
menu? Yeah, I'm going to main menu.
Oh, you probably want like a green
Level
continue
2.
button or something like that.
Boom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What
Oh.
happens if...
I just want to say I'm a little confused right now about what those spells were that you just gained, or those like special weapons that you just gained were.
Yeah, Philip, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, for sure. So those are other weapons that you can use. So you
yeah,
can
like
swap out
advice.
what weapon you have equipped in.
Yeah.
Oh, sick. Okay.
Also, now I know what the green things do, and also I know that this dog has as much memory as I do it.
Oh.
That's fair.
I'm
you
sure,
know,
Dal, you have way more memory. I just have that feeling.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I did.
a lot of people's favorite character is the dog. So
It's
Oh, yeah.
dang cute. I like it.
Yeah, I refuse to believe you're surprised by that.
Wait, why is this not destroyed?
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Interesting. It's funky.
So you guys have both played this game already, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have like the God mode knowledge. You know what's
You
gonna
got it.
happen.
Yep. Me and Mark.
Yeah.
Perfect
Yeah,
information.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but
How far did you guys get?
I got to the beginning of this level.
yeah,
Okay.
I think
No,
I
I
got
don't have any things left.
I think I got through this one, but I kind of button mashed my way through it.
Okay. Can you get more ammo? No, she needed to equip more guns at the start of this.
How do I equip more guns? I don't know how to do that.
Oh, Dale.
So you can't equip more guns, so that's not it.
Ooh.
You're
Oh,
good
okay.
as far as that goes.
I tried, Dale. Oh, that's a cool effect.
Well,
So it actually is really interesting because when this happens, and this is a game over, the planet on the inside of the shell is destroyed. But because we didn't know that's what this was, a shell around a planet, the first time it happened, it was like, oh, the planet just cracked in half like an egg. And then when we blew up the planet, it didn't make any sense why that was good. But now that we know that it's a
Wow.
shell around a planet, I'm thinking the big fire inside the shell is just a bunch of molten lava that was there already. I didn't realize there was a planet under there.
Yeah, exactly. That's the intentional reveal. That's what they're trying to do.
No, I get that, but I mean, I lost a few times before that reveal happened, and so I already developed in my mind an impression of what I was looking at, which was the planet. The planet was destroyed, and this is the planet. That was so. I mean, I had no reason to believe that was not the case. And there's one thing. I mean, a twist is one thing, but that feels a little bit more like I feel dumb that I didn't know that. You know.
Okay. Yeah.
We don't want you to feel dumb. That's definitely not the goal. But at the same time, I think you do bring up a good point of how, with the tutorial specifically as well, there is a lot that kind of we basically just put you right into it right away with very little explanation.
Yeah.
And part of that is a design choice, but it also is kind of a time choice of what we invest our time and energy in. And
let's talk about this story reveal. So when you start the game in the tutorial, or if you just barrel through to the main quest because you're a crazy person, you look at this and you're like, okay, this is a video game. This doesn't look like a planet's surface, but this is sci-fi, so this is a planet. So that's the impression you get right away. Is there a story reason why the characters in the game wouldn't immediately understand that this is a shell around a planet?
No.
So the reveals is more for the player than it is for the character, but we get dialogue from the characters saying, "Oh, that's what it is," and so it kind of feels a little bit unusual into the way that it's told. I don't think you need to do a lot of extra stuff to clarify it. I think you maybe just need to move some pieces around.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then decide if it's is it the reason the player doesn't realize that it's not a planet is just because they don't understand what the art assets are yet. That's kind of a strange reveal. So you have to decide how important is that story reveal, and could it be done where the tutorial just explains what it is, and then the cutscene can still have a character be a dummy, and you can still tell that story of a person. So there's a planet in there. The player could already know that maybe.
I do not like this line through the text.
True.
Okay.
Dale,
That makes
Nice,
me
yeah,
want
that
to
does
read
make
it
it
even
accurate.
less.
equip your aimless's time bomb, for goodness sake.
How do I do that?
Hold on. Am I seeing that red damages blue?
Yeah.
Why does red damage blue?
Red damages green.
Does it?
Oh.
Oh,
no,
what do
never
those
mind.
arrows mean
It's
is the
something-
question, right?
Oh.
Is it what damages what, or what gets damaged by what?
No, I think you're right. I think it should be red weakens green.
Okay. Yeah, I was confused by that. All right, cool.
Okay. Yep, I cannot figure out if I can equip this. So
I
I'm
don't
gonna
think you can. I think
close
you just gotta
Okay.
close. If we
it.
main menu.
Effect.
You got it.
Oh.
Level 3.
Gil, can you hit cannon there? Never mind. What was I thinking?
What?
Okay, main menu.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, can you hit cannon? Can we swap our inventory? Oh, we can. Sick.
Bazooka. Tell me more.
You'll have to earn it.
Oh, we don't have a bazooka yet.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, that's like an upcoming. It's a billboard for a future weapon.
Exactly. It's our
Ah.
ad.
Oh, at 18 stars, I get
right.
this
I'm seeing
thing.
the Clash Royale DNA coming out. Cool.
Yeah, maybe this is
Alright.
a genre convention, but like the bazooka, it looks just as much like a button as the other ones
Well,
do. So
yeah.
you might want to have
Okay.
an alternate art asset for that.
It might need like a lock icon on it or
Yeah,
something.
that's a good. That would be a simple way to solve it. Sure.
Mhm.
Dale is cruising through these challenges. Question for you is: we saw down there that there was a red, green, and blue gun, but I haven't seen Dale be able to use a red, green, and blue gun in game. Is that something that gets unlocked too at some point?
Yeah, because it
I'll
came
let
pretty
you
quick
answer
in the
that one,
tutorial.
Philip.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you're saying using the 3 different guns at one time?
Mm.
Yeah. So the number of guns you can use increases as you get further in the game.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the guns
Okay.
that you see there, she can equip. It's just not explicit. It's not very intuitive. You basically have to click on the gun you want and then replacing it with the
Okay.
gun you have.
Oh, I gotcha.
Because the
Um,
stars are the things that unlock the guns, so that
Oh.
she's been doing so well
Yeah.
that she actually has all of those unlocked
Oh.
already.
Oh,
How do
sick.
I get...
But you can't use them at the same time until later.
I don't think you can get more ammo, Dale. So you just
So-
gotta collect real fast.
That's a case where the tutorial
okay.
actually gives you some bad information because the tutorial it tells
Yeah.
it gives you those weapons pretty quickly in the tutorial, and it may or may not explicitly tell you that you not to expect that right away. But it is a little bit strange to especially because they do get unlocked. To know the difference between available versus dual or triple wield, right? Like that; those are two
Yeah, no,
separate
that's-
mechanics, and I don't think the game explains itself so much about with that.
And way around that would potentially be to just focus on one at a time, and then when the next came about, to have that be like another level of the tutorial or another
Yeah.
intro.
I mean, it could be a level, but it's just every quote-unquote tutorial level is just really easy, but then you pace them out as you introduce new mechanics.
Right. Yep.
Yo.
Yeah, and if you integrated them into the game like that, you'd also be able to avoid the issue of people not clicking on the territory guns. So it'd be good for that too.
Right, yeah, there's this sort of like unskippable level 0, or world 3 level 0, world 4 level 0, that sort of thing. And players don't even know it's a tutorial, and so they have nothing to complain about.
This is fun.
Are those guns like if Dale were equipped with a red gun right now? Red is good at killing green, let's say. So would that mean that Dale will be one-shotting the greens? Like, is it better against greens than her current gun?
So it is better, but the red gun, we've gotten a lot of complaints about it. It doesn't one-shot the green. Nobody likes.
Oh,
It's got more
yeah.
ammo, but people want it to one-shot.
sure, that makes sense. I mean, right now, it feels to me like Dale is just using the best gun. Like, I don't know why she would equip one of those like specialist guns at this point. Maybe that's my ignorance, you know?
Right. To be honest, this is one of the really powerful guns, so that's fair.
Yeah.
The other guns are good because some of them have more ammo, or they do more damage for how much ammo they have, right? So they have a better damage to ammo ratio.
Yeah.
And so if she's like running out of ammo, one of those guns could potentially help. Whereas other guns don't use as much energy. So if she's running out of energy, one of those guns could help.
The planet just become a little bit redder. Is that like a sneaky hit point bar? Like, does the planet have like some number of HP?
Exactly. Yep. That's what it is.
Cool. Yeah. Who made this like camera rotation scheme here? Because this is a beautiful animation. It's so well done.
It is.
All John.
It's all John.
All John. 100% John. He gets criticism. He gets the credit.
Yeah, he's redeemed himself at the top of those pylons.
Yeah. Let me ask about the three colors again, because the thing about rock paper scissors is that if I have rock, it can crush scissors, but it's covered by paper. But in this game, correct me if I'm wrong, if I have a red gun that can kill green towers, blue weapons are not going to come after me, right?
That's true, yeah.
So why is it even rock, paper, scissors? Why isn't it just that green destroys green, red destroys red?
Whoa, that's really smart question.
So that was another thing that we talked about quite a bit too. The thought is if you have a red gun and you're shooting a blue building, that's actually extra bad because you anti-weaken it. You're resisted by the blue building, if you will, right? And so if you have a red gun, shooting a green building's the best. Shooting a red building's not good, but then shooting a blue building's really bad.
Okay,
so
there is a two-way relationship to some degree.
Exactly.
Okay. Then yeah, it's just a matter
of
communicating that in a really consistent way. Because all of us, including you, have forgotten what hits what. So I think that's the case because you're not faced with that on a constant basis. There's not a great reason to, unless you are really familiar with Pokemon. Which maybe everybody is, to remember what
gets my hope. I mean, it's Pokemon, right?
Would it be possible, do you think, if you pulled out a red gun and all the green things were weak against it, could the green ones like pulse some color or something to show me that I have a gun that they're good against or that's good against it?
Sure could. I don't know. It feels too hand-holdy to me. But that might be my hardcore side coming through.
Well, the thing is there's a difference between handholdy and just information. Like you have given the player that information, and so all you're doing is just making them remember it versus keeping it on the screen. There isn't really a difference except for how irritating that is for the player.
Yeah, I like that suggestion. I think there's positive things there with helping the player, remember that matchmaking because, like, somebody said, not everybody's played Pokemon or thinks that match system is the best.
Now, there are reasons to not do it, but it has to do with the fact of is remembering what's what, is that gameplay? If it's not gameplay, then you don't need to work. Then just go ahead and telegraph it. But if you want that to be part of the challenge, then it needs to be fun, and I don't know that it is, and also because especially because this is a mobile game, and I mean maybe not especially, but you should think about accessibility, color blindness, or even people who have like low battery on their phone. They turn on grayscale mode to save battery. If color is all they get, then they might lose that information, right?
Mark, I lost that last round because my conductivity was not good, so I
good excuse.
Noob.
I believe you.
Yeah,
you did really good, Dal. I'm super proud.
All right, you're back in now.
Okay.
And I would suggest, Dal, if you want to equip a second gun at this point, that might be helpful.
Oh, so I know how to do that?
So is there something about this planet where it spawns a bunch of enemies of one particular color?
What planet are we on?
Dale?
I don't remember.
3 or 4. I don't remember either, to be honest.
Yes, the levels are designed to specifically produce a specific challenge that you may or may not need specific guns to help with, or make you basically allow you to 3-star it. That's kind of the end goal, so you can unlock more guns. But I think this is the first level you get to have 2 guns, and it might be a necessity.
Oh shoot!
I don't know how to do that.
Oh, she could actually equip another gun. I missed that.
Yeah, so if you go back to the main menu, so if you pause the game and then you can just go back to the main menu and you can equip another gun from there.
Oh.
Too late.
Okay, so I would say, yeah, definitely did not get that I would have to go back to the main menu because I thought Angel there just said, hey, I'll train you, but never really got that training.
It's classic
That's
Angel.
fair.
All right, so yeah,
there it is.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Okay.
Let's
So
get
that being an
this-
equipable slot is
this
maybe
thing,
not super
this
obvious.
thing. How do I? Oh, I just click on it.
I'm
I don't
Bob.
have to drag it.
Right.
Okay,
And then if you
suppose
wanted to
Rose-
change your cannon, you can. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it seems as though you always want the cannon because if every weapon is weak against something, you don't want. Well, no, I guess if you have the two, it'll all balance out.
It's definitely a good starting strat, I would say. That's a
Yeah.
solid approach.
Mhm.
I think your logic with keeping the cannons really solid.
Quick thing about the pause menu. So I'm thinking about the lot in sort of like mobile UX. When Dale was when we were telling Dale to go back to the main menu, then at that exact moment she triggered the lose condition. The pause button went away. For a mobile game, you always want to let people pause because they might because you're out in the world or whatever you're on the train. Or
You
whatever,
might
wanna
have
be
to
able
drive
stop
your
it at-
car.
Right.
You
Well, you shouldn't be doing that when you play. But you should always let players pause at all times, right? But the thing I was actually thinking about related to it is that a pause menu will have a return to main menu. But I think in mobile, you want that to be like a gear icon or like a settings button, not a pause button. I mean, this is kind of neither here nor there. But does that, Lane, do you kind of know what I'm talking about? You've done more mobile stuff, right?
Yeah, 100%. Especially like you, a lot of people are going for like 1-ish minute experiences with mobile. So since the levels get longer than that, you would definitely want to be able to pause.
Yeah. No, I just mean like the terminology. Like I mean, it's the only button on there, so I assume that's where I can get back to the main menu.
Shoot.
But I feel in a mobile app, I expect to see a gear button or something, or a settings or options menu rather than a pause button.
Yes.
I expect pause to just pause the screen and nothing else to happen. I mean, I'll be quick. I'll be quickly, disillusioned of that.
No. Like there's definitely games that do it all kinds of different ways. I don't think that there's like one like super like market standard way of doing it.
Okay.
I was very close.
I believe in you.
Okay. Mark, my thing is laggy. Do you want to take over?
Sure. We'll see if I've learned enough.
Wait.
Okay, Dale, you have to stop moving your mouse.
You have to kick me off.
I can't do it until you give me the mouse back. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna disconnect.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, perfect.
That's so funny. We have that every time where I'm trying to just get control just so I can hit a button somewhere. But when people are playing on Parsec, they have control over a machine, and I don't always explain that.
You
streaming to both Discord and to YouTube is a disaster. So we got to watch you at on YouTube with a little delay here. Right?
Well, I'll give it a try. I gotta say, I've been campaigning this whole 2+ years we've been doing this to not waste time talking about streaming and all that stuff, but it's inevitable because that even just a couple seconds is like a bummer, right?
You gotta.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right.
I'm curious.
Whoa.
You guys have...
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I'm not looking at the right screen. I don't think. Or is it?
So I just posted into the Event Green Room channel. You can check out the YouTube link there.
Okay,
so that's one place
So
where you can watch.
Thanks.
The other thing though is that Mark
The red
is now
gun
streaming
mark
the
is good for
Watch
green
Live.
only.
Yeah.
The red is good for green only?
Yep.
Okay. It's like,
Because fire burns grass, Mark.
So you'll want to switch over to your regular gun.
yeah.
Good job, Dale. Way to instruct him. That's very helpful.
I learned
He's
something
killing it.
eventually.
So I'm curious. How is Mark able to just like take over Dale's game? Like,
So
because
it was running on my machine the whole time, and Dale was just sort of desktop sharing on
Okay,
Minds
gotcha.
Play.
Nice.
That's usually how we run games here, so that we don't have to have everybody download builds. Just all runs on one place, and then when you send a build to us to playtest, you don't need to worry about it getting in a bunch of crazy places.
Very useful.
Cool, very cool. Where do you guys find that setup?
That's what parsecapp.com. Is that or do I have that wrong? Lane, do you remember?
Yeah, I think that's it. By the way, Mark, you might want to give up on streaming back to us on Discord
Is it not
because
working?
you're starting to like you're just starting to like make robot type sounds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
sure.
there we go.
Yep, that's true.
I was worried that was just me.
There we go.
Thank you for saying something, Lane.
So the deal is a lot of people in our community were making all of these like couch co-op games. So they were like demanding like that people play in the same room together because they didn't have network multiplayer, but they still wanted to test their games with the convenience of an online environment. So Parsec lets you do that. The other players other than the host have like a couple frames of delay, but it still is pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Most of the time until. Because my first 4 or so levels I did great on, and then after that it started slowing down, so I don't know what changed.
Yeah, I'm having the same problem I had before, even after watching Dale do pretty well, and I am not figuring any of this out. I think part of the problem is that everything takes more than one hit to destroy, and so when I shoot something, I learn nothing. Was that good or not? Because do you
need to go through the tutorial again?
I went through the tutorial. It's evidence that you can get through the tutorial without fully grasping it.
Yeah, so what I would do is I would shoot things, because I knew it took 2 bullets, I would shoot things twice in a row really quickly and then scoot on from it.
Right. Yeah.
So that saved me time in this real-time strategy game to go mine some magic.
Well, now I'm looking at, I was able to get rid of the connections, but the towers are still there. And so did I defeat it or not? I don't know.
You did not, no.
Okay.
Yep.
It'll
The
go away
other
when you defeat
thing
it.
is you
No
gotta
blow up.
pick the tower that has the electricity emanating from it.
Yeah, but which one is it now?
Yeah, but then when there's no, I guess it's the one that has the extra nodule on it.
Okay. And Mark, you are still sounding like a robot to me.
There's nothing I can do about it. It is what it is.
Yeah, we're gonna have to live with that.
It's a feature.
Future. I am from the future. This is my robot dog.
So one thing I was a little curious about is because things take multiple hits to destroy, I was kind of wondering if just as a way to make it so people can understand what's going on better, if things if they got darker after you shot them, or if you had the HP bar over damaged ones, any thoughts on that sort of thing?
Yeah, for sure. We did have HP bars initially. We took them out in favor of having the building actually break apart. But I think the visual effect is probably too subtle.
Yeah, I can definitely see that it's happening, but it is pretty subtle. And the thing that's getting me is there's 3 towers. They're connected by lightning. I shoot one of them twice. The lightning goes away. Then a different one is the one that has the nodule on it. I shoot that. So I waste 4 of my 6 bullets on the time. I just don't understand how do I not run out of bullets all the time. What am I missing?
Oh, okay, you're not missing anything. You just gotta collect stuff real fast.
Right, but didn't we already say that collecting things doesn't give you more bullets?
It lets you win the game.
Well, no. I think you bring up a good point here. I think the challenge is with the chain reaction is really the name of the game. Yeah. You're trying to cause a chain reaction for each of the Reapers that are trying to destroy the planet. And some of them you can't actually cause a chain reaction. Most you can. So there's a little bit of discrepancy where oh crap, it didn't blow it up when I destroyed this one. Well, maybe that was a scenario where you just couldn't actually cause a chain reaction, and you are going to waste some bullets on that one.
Right, how do I know if that's going to happen or not. So, for example, this last one I just did.
You want to do the left one there, because it's yeah.
No, right, but there are other groups of 3 that all had nodules on top, and that one went away right away.
But the electricity flows in a direction between each
Yep.
pair.
Okay.
So you want to look for the direction it's flowing.
To find the leader.
You got it.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and it is definitely it's not necessarily intuitive, and it is a little bit of a challenge. Like the game's not designed to be like quick go around shoot everything. It's more of like go to the Reaper, look at it, analyze it, figure out where the weak point is, then take it out at the weak point.
Right.
And
so,
then as the game progresses, hopefully just get better and better at that.
So the one that I just did, it had instead of energy flowing from the middle to the outer ones, it was both the outer ones were flowing to the middle. So I had to do.
You had to use 4 bullets there.
Yeah.
Correct.
There's no way around that.
Quick, just hustle.
No, I hit that button.
Go.
Okay.
Stop shooting! No!
Click it, yeah! Woo!
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I guess the time pressure is not. I mean, I kind of know like the planet's getting red and all that. But I'm not feeling moment to moment that I need to move that fast.
Ooh.
You know.
Interesting.
Even though I know it in my heart that I have to do this quick, there's nothing really encouraging me to go any faster. Particularly because there's actually an issue with registering clicks underneath the gun. There seems to be like a if you try to shoot too close to the gun, that doesn't register. So I've just been a lot slower and methodical, and just so I make sure it registers my things correctly. I don't know how it's different on a touchscreen, but that ultimately just makes me very slow.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that actually is a feature because the use of your bullets is very important. Like
Right, you don't want any accidental clicks. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's what was happening. Basically, is when people were spinning around, they started firing. Especially some of the some of the guns, you actually like shoot a time bomb, and then it'll explode after a certain amount of time. And it's like, well, you don't want that one to be specifically over a building, but at the same time, you don't want to just spam that one across the world. It's not going to help you ever.
No. Oh, I was too slow.
So I still don't know why powers take multiple bullets. Like, I don't know what that adds to the game at all. Like, why doesn't it just... Because it's just... Part of it is you have to choose which ones to attack. That's important, right? And so it seems like why not just have them blow up when you shoot them?
Yes, there are 2 main things.
Yeah.
The one is if they take multiple bullets, then you can make it more efficient shooting them with certain guns that can destroy them with a single bullet.
Sure.
And so that's the one thought, and the other one is some buildings do only take 1 bullet, and so they're like weak buildings, right?
Yeah.
Those are like the 2 dynamics that it plays into.
Let me add. I'm just peppering questions at you now, but I only have blue bullets left, I had a huge array of blue towers. So, well, that's all I got. I guess it's not going to work very well. And 2 hits and the whole thing went down. Why is
Isn't the blue a little overpowered? Don't you just get that feeling that it's kind of...
It's
kind
so
of
good.
epic?
The guns are beautifully balanced. I'm the artist, by the way.
Oh, welcome, John. Welcome. The like win animation is spectacular. Nice job on that.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, I heard that you guys were being harsh on some of the artwork, but
just that when you look at these pylons from the top down, I don't know what they're called, but when you look at these towers from the top down, you can't tell what color they are, or at least I can't.
Yep, that's true. Yeah, they aren't as iconic as we could have made them, but yeah.
So I just had a situation where I had a bunch of bullets left, but
yeah, but you didn't have the
You
energy.
didn't have enough power or energy. It was sad. I watched it on the YouTube live stream. I felt you.
So that's a case where like it's having to manage those 2. Because I felt every time I paid attention to energy, that wasn't what I should have paid attention to, and so I stopped paying attention to it. But you have to do both.
Yeah. So and energy, for me at least, in the game, is something that you don't have to pay like attention to so much as you have to make sure your loadout is correct when you're when you're ready. At least that's the way that I kind of see it. Where, well, I guess in some of the later levels you do have to pay attention to it, but for the most part, it's making sure you have the right guns and you'll have the energy.
Okay, so you wouldn't want to have like 3 guns that all spend a lot of energy. Do you have any guns that like build up energy when they shoot?
Yeah, we do. That's actually one of the funner guns. It's like a drain gun, and so the more buildings you destroy with it, the more energy you get.
Yeah.
So it makes for some fun levels.
I wonder like a little bit. I don't know if this is a good mechanic or not, but like if like collecting crystals, restoring energy would be fun because then you would like want to jump in, shoot some, and then jump out and go harvest some.
Okay, so we did have that as well in one rendition of the game. So you're definitely on the right track as far as like that was one thing Andrew was a big fan of, right? Andrew, you were a big...
I still appreciate that aesthetic, but then we did run into some issues with balancing.
Okay, yeah.
So Philip, do you wanna?
Yeah, well, the thing is, we didn't really want them to feel like they needed to go and pick up the crystals as like a requirement to keep shooting buildings. We wanted it to be more or less something they could do while they're waiting for more buildings to spawn. Like right now, in what I'm watching, he's just been looking for crystals for a bit because like, well, there's no buildings. So we kept them separate on purpose, the two kind of dynamics, but we definitely thought about keeping them together because there is something really rewarding about clicking a crystal and then being like, I got a little bit of energy.
Well, another thing that we tried as well was the thought of when you destroy a Reaper, you'd get another little bit of energy boost, because a lot of times it's like once you take out a Reaper, then you're moving potentially in a more high stress situation to another one. I don't know exactly why we didn't maintain that, but that was another way of trying to help keep your energy up.
So for that one, no.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna mention that. So, we really wanted to pace out the game, so that it did feel like a strategy game.
Oh, nice shot.
And so, just keeping that in mind, when you create this dynamic of the more enemies you can fight, the more energy you get, it creates a lot more of a fast-paced environment. So yeah, that's kind of I think why we.
It also tends to like if you're doing good because you're blowing up the enemies and getting energy, and if you're doing bad, you're doing really bad. It's not only are you not blowing up the enemies, but you're not getting the energy you're supposed to get from blowing them up. So it can kind of roll a little bit. But yeah.
So this might be an incredibly dumb suggestion, but like it's not even really a suggestion, it's just a feeling. Like I kind of wish that like when there weren't dudes around and you've already harvested all the crystals, I kind of wish there was like something you could do, like just to like make the crystals spawn faster or something like that. Like what are your thoughts about that?
So my biggest qualm would be potentially just throwing off the balance of the game as far as incentivizing people to move faster than we want them to feel like they need to move,
Okay. Right now,
but I do agree. Having something to do could be good.
Well, one of the thoughts that we. Oh, you go, John.
Well, I was just gonna mention that as you get to the later levels, you definitely don't feel that as much. So the starting levels, they're a little bit slower paced. We kind of ease you into, the kind of time crunch. But yeah, as you get into the later levels, I definitely feel like it's a tighter play experience.
So I just finished this level, and I spent most of the time waiting for new enemies to show up or waiting for new crystals to show up. Yeah. And so I only kind of had one choice. I could either collect a crystal or shoot an enemy, and I only had so many bullets. And then when I ran out of bullets, I just had to wait around for crystals. And then the last crystal showed up just in time for me to win. I don't really feel like I had anything to do with that. You know what I mean? It was really a matter of like, it's almost like I just had to wait around and be ready to click the button. Like I don't know if I did anything to. I mean, it may be that I played correctly and then I did it in time.
That I think is really exactly like you nailed it around the head there, because if you were to take, let's say, a different gun into that situation, so like you would be spending potentially a lot more time trying to strategize how you take out some of those Reapers, which then would kind of crunch everything up. But because you brought in a gun that was appropriately spamming the entirety of the Reaper, it was pretty easy for you to take it out. But I think you're right with the thought of like, well, how do you balance that then? If it's like, well, if they're winning, then they're relaxing. Like, no, like you want to keep some type of steady flow.
Well, then the question is if I brought the wrong weapon in. One, I don't have a lot of information when I choose a new planet. I don't know what the right weapon is, and there's no way I can make a decision about which weapon to take in. And so it feels like I just have to do it. And that doesn't feel like a fun way to learn. I feel like I should be given a little information, and then maybe I do some risk-reward. Like, oh, okay, this one's going to have a lot of this type of thing, or this one has a lot of this type of mineral, and I know that attracts the green towers. You know what I mean?
What
Like
if the terrain on the planets in these previews told you that like green dudes spawn on green areas, red dudes spawn on red areas?
Yeah, or like certain ones spawn on coasts, or ones that, or some of them are spawning great numbers, so they don't fit on tiny islands, you know, little things like that. But my other issue is that if I had brought the wrong weapon in, and let's say I figured it out right away, but I kept playing, and then toward the end of that last round, when I was just kind of waiting because I'd run out of bullets, and I don't think I could have used the bullets more efficiently than I did. But let's say I played worse. I wouldn't really know that I wouldn't make it until I didn't make it. Like there's not because in fact in that last round, I was waiting for that last gem, and I had no way of knowing if it was going to show up or not. So I didn't know if I was doing well or badly. And you told me I did well, but I actually didn't. The game didn't tell me I did well. The game told me I completed the thing with 1 second to spare, which tells me I did pretty badly.
Well, when you say 1 second to spare, was there another Reaper that was going to destroy the planet at that point in time?
I think there were 2 or 3 groups that I couldn't attack because I'd run out of bullets, and so I was just waiting for gems to spawn before the planet blew. And so I got one, and when the thing was getting kind of red, I don't know exactly how close I was, but it felt to me like it was just a second or 2 away from game over. That may or not be true, but that's how I felt. So to me, it felt like I did pretty badly on that level. But I don't know how fast the gems spawn. Is that a constant rate? Does it depend on how many Reapers are in play? Does it depend on what my energy level is? Like, I don't know what that is controlled by, so I have no way to really strategize or make choices to do that. So like, I could say, okay, I'm going to save my bullets, and I'm actually going to leave a couple of these smaller enemy clusters alone, and I want to save my bullets for the big groups. But I actually don't know, are big groups going to come up? Are little groups going to come up? Am I making a bad choice by saving my ammunition? Is it worth wasting a bullet on this group? Or should I let it cook the planet a little bit because I can be more efficient? I don't have any information to act on, if that makes sense.
Are you guys familiar with like the Here's My Magic kind of, you get like lots, few, hordes, that sort of, kind of information from, just
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So we were thinking about introducing that.
Oh, yeah.
And we kind of decided to axe it because we felt like it was kind of an extra feature.
Okay.
And then also the fact that it is being able to go into a level and then kind of scope it out and then figure out which guns to use. Did have a nice explorative aspect to it, which we, definitely enjoyed. But yeah, we did definitely think about having like this idea of, we'll have these, few of these Reapers, hordes of these, or something to that effect. But yeah, it's definitely something.
Yeah, I agree. I think that like my main like criticism with that, and not really a criticism, just something I'm thinking about right now. So far from like watching, I'm not able to determine. So like in this level, he's got like like red and green things. Does that mean that this?
Wait, what?
Red and green things? Yeah, what's happening? Oh, your energy's getting sapped?
Yeah, but then so I moved away, but then they all got destroyed. I didn't attack them. Well, okay, that's a mystery. But actually, the question I was going to ask before I forget is, when I run out of energy and I'm just waiting for a bullet energy to shoot something, I can't change my weapon, and I'd like to be able to change my weapon while I'm waiting for the energy.
That's a fair thought. I do actually have to be ducking out here, but I'll let Philip or Andrew take that. Catch you guys later.
Yeah, later.
See you, John.
Yeah, no, that's pretty fair. I mean, yeah, we didn't want you to be able to change your weapon because then you give the player a better idea of like, no, you can't use that gun right now, so you can't click on it yet.
Yeah.
But way to do it.
I feel like I want to be able to use my time for something instead of just waiting. You know.
Exactly. Yeah. But at the same time, we didn't want you to have, and this is part of the challenge of it too. Is
yes, you guys have gone to a new type of enemy there.
Yeah.
So, as you saw, they were draining your energy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so on the like explorative aspect, like
I think if I
like so far it hasn't been clear that like because we've seen a bunch of red and green that this level is going to be like all about red and green. You know what I mean? So it's like the exploration is like a little hard. I would love to have that like preview before going into a level.
Yeah, and I agree. That was one of the big things I mean, yeah, like John said, you have to kind of pick and choose what features you're going to add and whatnot. But I 100% agree. Like I feel like it's part of the fun of the strategy because it focuses on this is really how you play the game. And so if you're not kind of hinting towards that or suggesting or at least giving people the information they need ahead of time to play the game well right away, I mean, you can jump into a Mario level and not know what's there until you get to it, and that's fine. But for a real-time strategy, it's nice to have a little bit of ability to strategize before you enter.
Man, the game experience is so different when you have like a energy draining weapon. This is just agonizing to watch. That thing is so powerful, though.
They're challenging, but they're really easy to take out, which is part of the balance. And there's a lot of Reapers. I think each galaxy we introduced 2 brand new Reapers that you have to defeat differently, or at least bring about a different play style into the mix, which is really entertaining.
Yeah. I wish I was playing at the moment. I haven't gotten here myself, but like the dudes that shoot back at you seem really interesting. You got to shoot the guy over on the right hand side.
Right. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of waiting. I think that is just because, especially with the ice weapon. Maybe that's just because that's the weapon I'm using. But like even with the shotgun or whatever, when I'm not over the energy sapping enemies, I'm just kind of waiting for the energy to use a bullet, and I don't know. I mean, other than that, I don't know how to manage my time better than that. Like if I shoot, I could shoot slower, but then I'm just using the time that I otherwise would have waited for. So that's not any better. And so I end up in a situation where I fire a bullet and then I wait, then I fire a bullet and then I wait, and that's a lot of waiting.
Yeah, no, I think definitely. Well, Philip, you can take it if you want.
Oh no, go ahead.
What I was going to say is the type of weapon or gun you use definitely affects that feeling. Like you said, the blue one takes up a lot of energy, so you can't just keep firing it. But it's definitely the way to go for some of these medium or large Reapers. However, if you try to use it as like, we're going to take out this little 3 cluster, then you're kind of, I mean, sometimes you do need to do that, but I guess it would be probably more useful for you to be more strategic in that scenario. So you're saving. So it's not just the ammo you're trying to bounce, it's also the energy. So you always have the energy, so you can use the blue one when you want.
I understand that. I just don't think that's happening because sometimes, depending on the randomness of the energy, a one shot. I need to use 3 powerful shots to destroy a group because where the energy is coming from is distributed pretty well, and so I can't find the best shot to do. And
so in that type of scenario, which again, what you're explaining could totally be a thing too, but there would be a way of you just using the blue one and then following it up with the one that doesn't take up as much energy. Or like what I've done in some of these larger scenarios is I take a gun that's really good against, like, let's say a red gun, good against the green building, and then I just pinpoint the green one to do as much damage as I can. So I'm not taking up as much energy, and then I use the blue one or another larger AoE gun to take out the rest. But again, I can totally see what you're saying because it's not very well directed. It's really hard to like pick up on, well, how do you want to play the game, but then also how are you supposed to play the game, and trying to find that balance.
Well, right
One
now,
thing that I think that John could do a little bit better, and I'll criticize him behind his back here, is that after watching the game a whole bunch, especially when you get to the big clusters, it's hard to pick out which direction the energy is flowing depending on the angle of the camera. And there's some angles, like where Mark is looking at right now, if like the two of them are on the same sort of like vertical like column, if one is above the other on the screen, it looks like a white shaft that's just going like from one down to the other. It's very hard to tell which way it's flowing, and that I feel like makes it harder than it should be to pinpoint the right one.
Well, sometimes there is a bi relationship there where both of them are feeding each other. Yeah. So.
Okay. I just stepped to blaming John. I thought that was a visual bug. Oops.
Well, no, we can still blame John. That's totally. I mean, I'm not gonna.
in this playthrough, every single one of the clusters was a one-shot kill except for one of them, and I don't know why the other one wasn't, because all the electricity went away, but there was still a bunch of towers left. So I don't know what happened there. I still don't understand that relationship. But I got really lucky, I think, this time. And also, there was a lot of time between spawns, so I never had any energy problems. And so I think that's why I did well. Whereas previously, I would get to the point where even with just the cannon, which is I assume is the fastest reloading or the lowest energy use, I would be so low on energy and there would be so many clusters, I couldn't wait for the energy to respawn so I can get multiple shots. So I just had to shoot one cannon, wait 4 seconds, however long it takes, which is eternity, right? In a mobile game. Or 3 or 4 seconds, whatever it is. Shoot another, and it just got me into I was sort of on a treadmill at that point. I had no other choices to make, if that makes sense. I just had to wait the 3 or 4 seconds, shoot. Wait the 3 or 4 seconds, shoot. Oh, there's a gem, I can grab it. But it seems like the obvious, at a certain point anyway, there was only ever one choice to make, and I was just waiting to make the choice, or waiting to do the thing. Whereas in this one, I had the blue cannon going, and basically I got really lucky. Whereas a big cluster would form, I had plenty of energy, I one-shot killed, and then there would be 8 seconds before another one would show up. So I always had enough energy. And again, I don't feel like I made any strategic choices there. I just used the best weapon every time and won. And I don't think I played differently than the last time. And that happened to be
the blue gun, not a coincidence, right, Philip? Yeah, no, I think we I definitely can feel that, and I think that makes a lot of sense. I don't know, Philip, do you have any comments?
Well, so, I think there's a lot of differences between pacing with how you play. I know a couple times, you seem to shoot really fast. And so I think that leads to you needing to wait more. And it also potentially leads to you not making optimal shots. Because like you kind of pointed out, you don't, or it doesn't seem like you necessarily quite understand how the chain lightning all works.
No, it's just I don't always see it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I could just look closer. Like this group of 3, if you're catching up on the screen, it'll be a couple of seconds. This one I know is going to suck because I have to take out both of these towers. And that's it. That is interesting, right? Because then I'm not going to waste my great weapon on it or whatever. But it seems like the blue weapon, if the energy is, if the die rolls really well, I can kind of one-shot kill pretty much all of these
So actually, for that one, you would want to use your blue gun against it because your blue gun doesn't AOE, and so the chain lightning wouldn't be able to take them all out in one shot. That's why you had, or 2 shots technically. That's why you had to use 4 shots against it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the blue gun would have the chance of actually being able to AOE and take them all out. But there is a lot of luck to it too. So I'm not saying that there's not a lot of luck in there, but there is a lot of tactics in there also.
Yeah, I don't know what, like when you say I shoot quickly, I don't know why I would ever want to win.
This is a really good thing for feedback from you guys, as you know. I don't know if you guys think about these things later too, but this was one of the challenges. It is a different. So like when you play, I don't know what's a good battle royale maybe, or a tower defender game. You deploy your units and then you watch them do their thing, right? Well, for this, it's kind of a similar thing where it's like you have that wave sensation, but you also have a first-person shooter, so it's a challenge to say, okay, how can you create an environment where sometimes you need to be really fast-paced, but most of the time you want to be more of like rhythmic, thoughtful with your actions, and how do you kind of help the player achieve that Zen quality of balancing their time and their energy and their thought process.
But it's still
because it's a very common thing in RTS is to have like more stuff to do than you can like cognitively focus on at one time, and deciding where to spend your mental energy is a huge part of playing like any RTS.
But my resources are finite, so it doesn't really matter how fast or slow I use them.
Oh, it does. It does. If you slow down, you'll make better choices, and you'll like click the things to destroy more things.
Well, I mean, I could make smarter choices, but that doesn't have anything to do with how fast I play.
You're right. But at the same time, that thoughtfulness, like for instance, if you, after looking at the Reaper for 2 seconds, you make a choice, versus after looking at the Reaper for 5 seconds, there's a much better chance that you're going to make a choice that's going to use less energy / less bullets, which is going to then prepare you better for the next wave or the next Reaper you're trying to take on.
Right, but
Does that make sense?
That has nothing to do with the mechanics. That's just if I'm good or not. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, here, I got the game paused right now. I'm going to unpause it. You can take a look at this group that I already shot 4 of my normal cannon and 2 of the blue one, and this is where I'm at. Oh, now the level's over. I feel like I made the best choices I could there, and I use a lot of time to do it. So feels like there's so much randomness, and I'm kind of just...
Did you spend very much time, Mark, analyzing like which way the electricity was flowing?
Yes, yes, absolutely. That's the thing that's like the one strategy in this game, right? That's the difference between wasting 7 bullets and
another strategy that each of the Reapers, I think at least the medium and large ones do employ, is you only take out the one color of cells. So for instance, if you had a cluster of 20 blue and just 2 or 3 red, if you just take out those red, then it's gonna destroy the whole Reaper. So like that's another, like I definitely think like you're on to something with the electricity, as far as like that's what I always look at right away. But then the second thing that I try to examine is, okay, is there an easy way of taking this out without having to do the mental pathing of this will take out this one, this will take out this one, this will take out this one, and cause the chain reaction I'm looking for.
So explain that relationship to me then. So if there are 4 green ones and 12 blue ones, I'm not sure if there's ever a situation of that. A mismatch.
Yeah, if that was a thing.
Then I just want to go for the get the blue chain if the connections make sense, and then that will get rid of everything.
So the 4, you said 4 green or 4 blue? I forget.
I mean, whatever. 4 green and 8 blue.
If you only have to take out the, and I think Philip, you can back me up on this, but you only have to take out the color, one color, for that Reaper. So if you are in a situation where it's like there's only one red cell here or whatever, then your better bet's just to focus on that and forget about using all of your energy and your
So you want
muscle
to
power.
target the smallest group.
Potentially, right. But then sometimes it's easy to tell that like the smallest group is very widespread and not connected.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, then you're just gonna AoE it, or
Right.
try to actually filter through all of the connections with the larger group.
I mean, ultimately, you just want to take out the easiest group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. The group that allows you to use the least amount of energy.
So that's pretty intuitive. I guess I didn't understand the relationship between a whole group, the whole Reaper, and each individual cluster of colors. But I've been trying to take out the easiest one to take out each time. I guess that explains why I one-shotted all those ones in that one round and didn't understand how I was so successful. Because I was just using the natural strategy, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah, but again, that's part of the. Oh, you go.
It kills all the reds. Like that seems like the strength where it's just almost always gonna kill all the reds in a zone.
Yeah. So I mean, ultimately it comes down, like, I don't think I'm very good at this game, but I also think I've got a good handle on it. But I think that the thing that is getting me is, like, if I have 3 bullets left, okay, I spent a lot of my bullets. I don't know how many bullets left I need to beat this level. Because I don't know how many more Reaper groups are going to show up. I don't know how long it's going to take for gems to show up. Because I could ignore the Reapers if there's a lot of gems. I know all these things, but I just don't know. Like, I don't know if I've done well or not, or if I've optimized.
So as you play
because everything does
through
feel like a random amount of things at a random duration, spread out in a random
We
rate.
should listen to these developers more. Let them talk for a little bit.
Well, no, I mean, I think you bring up some really good points. And maybe Philip, if you want to jump in here too, but from as you play more of the game, and you're consistently collecting crystals, you can kind of tell. And maybe it's just me. So Philip, is it similar in your experience?
No, I can't tell, but there's only one option. You keep destroying stuff and collecting crystals until you win or lose. But I don't know how long the levels are going to be normally.
Yeah, normally for me, when you are collecting the crystals, you can tell by how much you. So, like for instance, what I'll do is, let's say I start with a gun with 10 ammo, another gun with 5. When I get down to like halfsies on both of those, if I haven't collected about half of the amount of crystals, then I'm feeling like I'm not doing, or there's room for improvement. So, but that's pretty. I don't know. That's definitely something that was learned over the course of playing it many times. Not something that was intuitive right away, for sure.
Oh yeah, and I would say, like, don't worry about making the game easier to figure out like the good strategy. Like, if your intent is that someone has to play 1,000,000 rounds to pick up on the subtle clues, that is fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing. I think the thing that's frustrating me is I don't know if there's anything to pick up. If there is, and I just can't get it, then that's totally cool. Like, I'm bad at a lot of games, so it does not bother me at all. I just don't know if there's anything for me to look for in terms of, like, like you were saying, you said that if you are running, like, if you've spent half your bullets on both your weapons and you don't have half the crystals, I think that's a pretty good signpost. That makes sense. But that is not. Are the levels geared towards needing the amount of bullets you have? Like, how is it? What is the? I guess the question I'm asking is, how does the game determine how long a level is, or how many Reaper groups form, or if the group is large or small? Obviously, there's some randomness there in that sense.
That is a great question. Philip, do you want to take it, as you were kind of the main brain behind it?
I will, thank you. So it's done with a spreadsheet, like most awesome things in this world.
So correctly is what you mean. It was done correctly.
Well, it's done with numbers and a formula. So we plug in what guns you're supposed to use, and then it says, okay, this is how long the level should be based upon how much energy these guns will take and how fast you get energy. And this is about how many buildings you can destroy, but each, obviously there's a number which is like destroy points, and then each building has a different number of destroy points associated with it. So there is a method to the madness. Whether that method works or not, that's another story.
Okay, so that's interesting, because in a couple of rounds where I did really well, but it still felt like I was just getting by the skin of my teeth, that actually matches up with what you're describing your spreadsheet to be. is that I have just as much as I need, and if I make any mistakes, or say 2 big mistakes, then I'm not going to make it. So that makes sense. I think if the player understood that they're sent into this mission with, you're never overpowered in this game, right? And I don't think the game teaches you that, but that's fine. All you have to do is tell the player, no problem, simple solution. But then on top of that, I think the thing is I don't know when I've made a mistake, if that makes sense. And so I don't know, because I never know if I've beaten it or I've done it until the very last second that I've done well. There's something really interesting about that. So there's no criticism there. But I think not getting a sense as to like, maybe I should start over now, or like, oh, I really biffed it because this, and it wasn't just a random distribution of the electrical signals that made this section a little bit harder. It was that I targeted the wrong one, or I brought the wrong weapon. I don't know when I've made those mistakes, I think, is the thing. So you probably don't need much more of what I was sort of asking for, all those like, all the sort of hints and indicators. But I think just 1 or 2 more pieces of information for the player to assess their own success before the final moments of the game. Because there is a little bit of waiting, and that waiting can be interesting tension, where you're like, am I going to make it? Am I going to make it? Like, that's kind of fun, but it can be annoying if it's, did I lose? Did I lose yet? Like, then that's kind of annoying, right? And if I'm in like, ooh, did I win or did I lose? That's kind of interesting, but there's not a lot of information. I guess what I'm saying is that it's a real fine line between, like, I don't think you need to make a lot of changes. I think that just like 1 or 2 little tweaks could really push, at least a player like me, just speaking for myself, into the edge of like, of being excited about some of those things, like the waiting and the, I'm always low on energy. Like, I was frustrated by that, but that could be exciting. That itself is not a problem. You know what I'm saying? I hope I'm making sense.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that. So, like, one of the things that you mentioned, the indicators, I think the number of stars that you get can help that experience. But like you said, well, if I fail it, I'm going to fail it. Well, that's true. And then how long am I going to be playing level? Again. So I definitely think that there's more, especially I'm thinking, if quote unquote, we go back over and do stuff, that the level entry, like where John was saying, we're having like the horde and the, I forget the other options for, here's my magic there. Anyways, that is where you want to kind of give some of that feel of what are your expectations going in, and then as you're playing, am I meeting those expectations? Basically, being able to say like, oh, okay, let's say there's a horde here, and then like realizing that, oh, I've taken out this many, so there's probably a few more, or I've collected crystals consistently. There are no more crystals to collect, and I've only got a fourth of my forget the name of the last gun, but a fourth of this level finished or completed.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, I think you have a lot of information about each cluster of enemies. So once they have a definitive destruction point. It's one enemy, that's one of the most interesting things about this game, is that you have multiple targets, but it's still like one enemy. I think that's really cool. But what that means is that you can keep track of how the player did destroying that particular enemy. And you could have Angel in the back seat being like, nice job, or like, oh, you barely got that one. And that could be a little bit of that feedback as you go that can kind of give you a sense of how you're doing. But
I agree that like enemy by enemy feedback would definitely, I think, help players just figure out like, oh, what I did there wasn't as optimal as it could have been.
Yeah, and you could be like, well, I've been doing good up to now. Maybe I can survive this mistake, and that's the risk reward that's so exciting. It's like, oh, I kind of screwed that one up, but I think I still did well enough to beat this one. And then that kind of like countdown to win or lose can be really exciting. In those moments when you just have a little bit more information about how you're doing. Because even when you're doing bad, it can be a lot of fun in that case. Let me ask you, so the 3 stars, how is that calculated?
That's based upon how much damage your planet takes. So how much enemies activate, essentially.
Oh, okay, so you start with 3 stars and it goes down.
Yep.
what do you think about putting that on the screen as you play? Like, I know that's sort of a hit points sort of system, so maybe that's
it
a
is
little
on
bit
the
too
screen.
obvious. Oh, it is
on the screen.
Oh,
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
totally missed it.
You can look at the planet and you can see that where you're at.
I mean, it gets warmer, but like. I don't
Correct.
know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's a subtle hint. It's not a direct hint.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we did have a bar up there, which was like an HP bar, showed the stars and everything.
Yeah.
We removed it because we just didn't feel like it was necessary.
It felt a little on the nose to you.
I'm not entirely sure what that means.
Well,
Oh.
like you
Just
have
too
3
obvious.
stars, right? So like if you got damaged, then you're probably gonna lose one of your stars. And the difference between 2 stars and 1 stars is pretty much like you don't care, right? Like you either want to get all the stars or you just want to beat the level, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of the dynamic. If there were more stars, or like if basically if there's a greater variety of points you earned or experience points or something like that, then I think trying to display that would be more helpful. But with just the 3-star approach, it did kind of like, I mean, basically you're just trying not to take any damage, or you're just trying to beat the level, right? Like those are kind of the 2 focuses.
Yeah, I'm just sort of seeing that if there's more avenues for you to use the tools you already have, because like the last thing I want to do is like suggest you make a ton of changes, because I do think there's little simple tweaks can solve some of this communication things.
It's very true, Mark, that this game is not the golden game of like, definitely there are issues with it, and definitely there are ways of making it better, and so that feedback is really appreciated, even if it does kind of hint towards a bigger rewrite or yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I mean,
all right, I want to try to sneak in a question here if I can.
Yeah.
Which is one thing that I kind of observed was that we went from having like a couple of posts, a couple of reapers. Is that what they're called?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, fantastic. Like a two post reaper in the tutorial, and then a 3, and then a 3, and then we went into a level where there were a bunch of 3s. And then, like, he hit a point where it went from 3 or maybe 4 up to, like, a giant-ass cluster of, like, 15. And I was really curious, like, what would you think of either easing people more towards that, or having a Reaper where it's, like, there's one in the middle, and that radiates out to all of them. So it's a pattern that the user can figure out, that I need to go after the center one in those, so that people can start, like, putting, like, stepping stones towards these really difficult situations.
Oh, that's interesting.
Philip, do you want to respond to that one?
Sure, yeah. So I think as a stepping stone, it could work out really well.
Sure.
The 4 Reapers could be kind of hard because the number of connections could mean that a lot of times you're not able to destroy them with one shot, which would be super annoying, But the pattern, I think, would be solid, like you said, as a stepping stone to help people understand like what they're supposed to be doing. The thing that I'd be worried about is like you would be able to see the pattern and really quickly destroy the Reaper, which at that point you'd be like,
for sure, yeah,
I'm waiting a really long time just to get my energy so I can quickly destroy the Reaper in the middle. Whereas if you're actually taking like 5 seconds, 10 seconds to look and be like, all right, what do I need to destroy? It definitely changes the pacing of the game a lot. But as a stepping stone, it could be really nice.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it would be teaching people a lesson that you don't want them to learn. Like if like people go on to the more complex clusters later and try to treat them like those easy patterns, then that might be teaching people the wrong thing. On the other hand, I can think back to like Dark Souls is one example, but Hyper Light Drifter is another example I can think of, where you start out getting just owned by these like pretty easy enemies, but then you sort of learn their pattern, and it feels satisfying to like understand the pattern that they're doing and be able to handle those opponents rather quickly in the future. I wonder if that would be like a satisfying thing for people to overcome. And then even if you use some of those patterns later in the game, if people would be like, oh, I've seen that before, and like just be able to get an easy win. I don't know. I just think it would be enjoyable for people.
Nice thought.
Yeah, that's kind of related to the I mean, we just got to the point where we had that other type of enemy that saps your energy, and I think there's only so much you can scope for like additional enemies. I think that do different things. That's
true.
You start complicating the mechanics when you start interacting them. I will say, because it has a kind of like there's like a zen to it as you play each level. Like even when you're doing badly, that like the introducing that enemy as late as you do, I think that's like the right spot. Actually,
Oh, yeah.
Like
It's sweet.
I wouldn't do it much earlier than that, but I think leading to what Lane is saying, that idea of having some variety in the cluster shapes, that you introduce that complexity over time, I think that would be really useful. But yeah, it really depends on like how do you want players to, you want them to sit and look and figure out what the best shot is, and so that's part of the challenge. But I think once you get an idea of the system, you can pretty much suss that out pretty quickly, and so I think you might actually want to make some really complicated, more puzzly ones that do take multiple shots, and that's and then the ideal solution is for them to take multiple shots. I think that the choosing which weapon to fire with is maybe the most interesting choice in the game, and I don't feel like I was able to make it enough. But and it would be really cool to see more patterns that I could either recognize from repeated play or from intuition because I've played enough to be able to recognize a new situation. To be able to do that, I think all the pieces are there. You know, and I think the way the game is paced is pretty good already. But you can kind of supercharge it with a little bit of that, I think.
Yeah, no, I think and this is part of the challenge too, is like as you get into it more. So like you guys got to the first, more complex Reaper who can drain your energy. As you get introduced to more and more different Reaper types, that quite drastically does change. So like, you could be relying a lot on like your blue gun in the first few levels and being like, yeah, that's the golden gun, do that one. And then a little bit later you'll be introduced to a Reaper who the blue gun is definitely not the one to use against it. So that dynamic of swapping guns is really, I think, what the game pivots around, is saying, hey, the guns are really the important thing, and you deciding what you bring in, when to use the different guns, that's the core.
That's interesting because that is definitely what I identified as the most satisfying part of gameplay. I would think about letting people have all three slots right at the beginning. We were talking about that tutorial and how it made you think that you had all three. What would be the harm of giving players all three? Basically, it would make a lot of the early levels really, really easy. But that's kind of that power fantasy stuff that Lane was talking about. And then it introduces the concept very early. Like if you have all the weapons available to you, let's say you have 4 or 5 weapons, not just 3. I'm not suggesting that at all, but let's just imagine you had everything available to you all the time. You'd have more power than you'd need, but then that means you'd get to play a little bit with it in a low consequence environment before it's needed of you later. Because as soon as I've played a lot of games where like I get comfortable with a play style and then suddenly 3 new mechanics drop in my lap and I'm like, I'm not going to do any of that, and then I start to get really bad at the game. And I don't think that's uncommon. You start to enjoy the game and you don't want it to change. But if you have all those tools in front of you all the time, that might solve 2 problems, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, and one of the ideas, what do you guys think as far as, let's say we started with 3 slots, if you had the same gun for all 3 slots, like basically say, okay, well, you only have 1 gun right now, but you can equip it to each of your slots. Would that kind of be a similar, like, yeah, that would probably do the trick, or would you expect the guns to be different so that you kind of were introduced with that match 3 system sooner? Yeah,
I think I'd expect them to be different. I don't know what how that's any different versus an empty slot if it's just the same gun. I'm assuming a shared ammo pool, but that might not be what you mean.
No, basically the thought would be just you would have 3 different guns, so you would have 1 gun that would 8 ammo. The next gun would be the same gun, just have 8 more ammo. Basically, it would give you more ammo, but it wouldn't give you a different play style. Like, is the point to say, okay, let's make it consistent so that they have this expectation, that they have these slots? Or is it kind of to really hint or focus on the match 3 system and that level of complexity from the get-go?
Yeah.
I think opening up the slots feels really cool. I think that like the level of complexity was already like high enough when Dale only had 1 gun and she was just learning the mechanics of the game. I think that having like 3 guns, especially with the added potential confusion of I have like 1 gun but it's in 3 slots, or I have three copies of it.
Right.
Like to me, it seems like the way it's unfolding right now is pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, my comments was it feels fun and that's pretty dang good.
Yeah.
You know, like I felt like those early levels were challenging, but not so challenging that I didn't want to play.
Yeah.
And I got to play, you know, several of them more than once, which means they're probably about the right amount of challenging.
Dude. Total wish list item for you guys. I don't know if this fits into your plans at all, and this is more work for John. But I would love it. I would love it if the terrain on the worlds meant a little bit more. Like if there was one area that was a certain color or something, a certain shade, and that was like a great crystal patch that you could go over and do some harvesting. And then there was another, and then other places would be where more Reapers would spawn. I feel like having like a little bit more like landmarks on each of these would be sweet. It would just increase my enjoyment of the game a lot.
Nice.
You know, one of the things that frustrated me was when there was nothing happening, no crystals, no enemies. I was just spinning the globe. That was a little bit annoying. But if I could go to a spot on the planet which I knew was likely to spawn crystals or enemies, then that waiting would be interesting. Do you know
You'd have a little more strategy there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm going to park over this spot because this is a good harvest zone. And then suddenly a crystal appears on the other side of the world. I'm like, damn it. And then I filter. Like, that's fun. Like, I like that.
Nice.
And so it would make that thing that was frustrating for me into something actually kind of full of tension and choice. You'd get to choose what to do instead of just, you know, a marble, right? So I like that a lot. I mean, Lane is right. It might be out of scope. So... you know, calibrate as you need, but I think it's a pretty good idea.
I really appreciate it.
The last thing on my mind is that like us like ancient teetering millennials here are of course slowing down in our old age. But I definitely think that one of the things I would look for the most is you asked like should we add like more weapon slots from the beginning. If anything, I like love the pace of the game. I think that it could possibly be like slowed down a little bit. Like you introduce concepts more gradually, you step up the challenge more gradually. I'm partially saying that because I work on mobile games for a living, and I know that like a lot of the business of mobile is stretching out content over a longer amount of time. But I would say it does feel good to like build up a mastery over like several easy-ish levels, and then give people a challenge. I personally, from what I've played and from what I've seen in this game, I wish like just from a feeling point of view, they had like eased me in a little bit more slowly. And I wonder, have you folks say that you have like playtested this a lot within your family? Have you playtested a lot with people outside?
No.
Not really. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that's definitely one of the challenges.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I just say like from folks who have done this like a lot, like this is definitely like how my feeling in my first game was, which was like I sort of balanced it so it would be interesting for me, and then got a bunch of people saying, oh my God, I don't even know what I'm doing. Well, I think a lot of it was just introducing concepts and introducing difficulty more slowly, made it feel much better for people outside the people developing it.
Yeah.
Nice.
I would say the one improvement I would focus on is putting in more of a tutorial about how to add the second gun.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And you can even have Angel say it.
Yeah.
Right, or maybe even like limiting so you can't go to that that planet without having a second gun equipped.
Yeah, you
Oh,
have
that's
like,
a good
hard
idea.
stop.
You have a star system for unlocking weapons. I think the stars to get me to. I mean, mobile games are. This is a classic mobile game mechanic, but you know it's tried and true. Is I want to replay a level to do better, but I also get a material reward for that. And you have that already, but I think that could be a case of unlocking the next level. You would need certain amount of stars so that players don't end up at a level they will be not prepared for. And I think a lot of the things can be built around that. And so I think you should have, when you unlock a gun, you should be able to equip it. You should have 3 empty slots that but if you only have one gun, you can only fill one slot. But you can still pace it similarly to how you do now. You could just gear it so that the player gets their second gun around the time you would otherwise have them open the second slot. But then that allows you to control the experience a little bit better. If you know what the second gun is going to be, then you can introduce those concepts of the rock, paper, scissors at that moment. And so that it kind of all clicks to people instead of having to, bang their head against it for a while until it all comes together. Speaking for myself only. But I like the idea of locking off future levels until you have the tools you need. I mean, maybe let them get there a little early if they're cocky, but but pacing it that way, because then it gives the player that expectation we've been talking about this whole time. Is players want to know what they're in for. They want a little bit of mystery. They want a little bit of surprise, but they want to feel like, am I equipped, under-equipped, or over-equipped? Then I can decide whether to proceed. Then it gives them some agency over how they're progressing through the game,
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good feedback.
Yeah. We're very happy to have you here.
Yeah. And the thing is like, this is what at the core, you have a gameplay loop that is really repeatable, and it's hard to get sick of doing it. I think you're sort of ahead of the game in a lot of, especially mobile games where you do a lot of the same repetitive actions. I could get endlessly frustrated, but I don't know that I would ever get bored of it. And I think that is the biggest pitfall that you have sailed over. You're clear of that trouble, and that's a huge accomplishment.
Thank you. And we really appreciate you guys bringing us on and and playing the game, and Dal especially jumping in without having anything. That's pretty gutsy, so we appreciate that too.
For sure. And all your critiques and suggestions, everything we said to explain it wasn't to explain it away, and we always appreciated hearing about it.
Yeah.
So thanks for that.
Yeah, you guys have a really good style. I didn't feel like you were defensive at all. This was just a good conversation. Yeah. But Philip and Andrew, you guys have been spectacular. Would love to have you guys back if you, especially if you want to show us some new developments on the game in the future.
Beautiful. Love to come back.
And for folks watching live and on replay, in the IGDA Twin Cities Discord, this game has its own channel. It's part of a new thing we're doing where if you make a game in this community, you can have a channel in the Discord. And so I hope that we see updates in that channel. And if you're looking for playtesters outside of this event, just to try out a new thing or take a look at some new art, I'd love to see it in that channel if you guys have the energy to commit to that kind of devlogging, which is no easy task.
Yeah, I can tell you that I think that Lane has been very successful at doing that for his own game.
Nice.
Which is also space themed.
In that it takes place in a space.
Yeah.
Is there a robo dog? That's the main question here.
Oh my gosh, there will be next week.
Good job.
No, I've been bugging Lane for a long time because I think a space theme would be great, or a future theme would be great, but it is clearly high fantasy.
Well, we're past time, which means Lane, you have escaped the evening. No final strike tonight. But again, thank you, Noble Bros, for bringing in your game, and thanks also to Rusty Chicken for our first game, which I think we both of our games we ran over time on, which is good, I think. And it was Lane's plan all along, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
thank you guys.
Yeah, and as we do for every Twin Cities playtest, we give Dale the final word to give us a final parting words of wisdom or a non sequitur or really anything she'd like. So Dale, what do you got for us?
The ability to destroy a planet or even a whole system is insignificant next to the power of the Force.